weekend. So it's 8 changes from the 1-1 draw against PSV Eindhoven in midweek. David Raya is in goal. Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Alexander Zinchenko. Martin Ødegaard, the captain, Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. The ball is back with the Brighton keeper Bart Verbruggen, and just like David Raya, he'll take chances inside his own penalty area. He's all in yellow. He's played the ball out to Lewis Dunk. Arsenal are pressing right on top of Brighton here inside their own half. Loose clearance from Dunk. He's intercepted by Martinelli. Passes across to Gabriel, who really has to stretch to control that ball, but gets applause from the Arsenal fans around us because he managed to do just that. And Arsenal continue their build-up just inside the Brighton half. So Ødegaard, Rice and Havertz, the midfield three, front three, Saka, Jesus and Martinelli. And just watching those three in the warm-up in particular, going through those shooting drills and the rotating movement and the crisp passing, they look sharp. Here's Saka, ball into the penalty area, might reach Jesus, it's pinging around. Van Hecke's there for Brighton and is able to dribble it out to the edge of the penalty area and play it to Adingra. Sharp start by Arsenal, Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, but that's where Jesus, I don't know why he just doesn't swing his foot. He tries to take a touch and he should just swing his, but you're right, it's been a good start. Brighton trying to overplay at the back. Good battle to see Milner left back against Saka.
Yes, James Milner starting
listen,
at left back.
I'll be honest with you, listeners, Ali called that from the beginning. He knows his stuff.
Well, we saw that Milner and Veltman were in the two full-back positions, and James Milner, we know, has had some battles so far this season against some very tricky wingers. He's certainly got the experience, but Milner-Saka, here we are, head-to-head right now, and Milner's just following him inside the Brighton half, forcing him away from goal, and the ball is played back to Saliba, into the feet of Jesus with his back to goal, back to Rice. Rice takes 5 big strides forward, plays it to his right to White, back to Rice. Here's Ødegaard, surrounded by blue and white shirts, but just drifts in between them, lays the ball off, and Rice plays it back to Saliba. So Brighton having to be patient. They've not seen the ball in the opening minutes of this game. And listen to the noise inside the Emirates Stadium as well. Ben White with the ball at his feet, finds Jesus. Jesus drops a shoulder, moves away from a marker, gives it to Ødegaard. Lallana just bumps Ødegaard to the floor, just left his shoulder there. Ødegaard ran into it, he's gone down. Referee Tim Robinson didn't see anything wrong with that. He's not given a free kick here, but he's stopped the game because I think he thinks that Ødegaard might have taken a whack to the side of the head. So it's just a stoppage in play. We are 2.5 minutes in, and it's Arsenal 0, Brighton 0.
Yeah, I think Lallana's clever. He's saying you're not going to just keep passing it, and he just stood his ground. He basically stood his ground and made Ødegaard run into him, and I can understand where he's coming from, Lallana, because they couldn't get a kick in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Martin Ødegaard celebrating his 25th birthday today, the Arsenal captain, and strangely, in his programme notes in his captain's column, he said that he couldn't remember a date. It's not for years and years and years. He said that he's actually played a competitive football game on his birthday, which, as a professional footballer, December the 17th, there's so much football.
So much football,
I'm really surprised at that. Dunk clears with his right foot up to the halfway line. I'll give you the Brighton lineup in just a second. Veltman tackles Jesus. Van Hecke turns out of trouble, did well under pressure from Martinelli. Stretching ball from Gross to Milner. Milner's first time ball forward is for Ferguson to chase. It's well beyond him, and David Raya is able to scoop it up on the edge of the penalty area and bowl it out underarm to Rice. Rice to White. Rice's ball down the line, easily intercepted by Milner. Feeds one infield here to Billy Gilmour, who we were chatting about just ahead of kickoff. Little give and go from him, but he doesn't receive the return pass. It comes back to Dunk, and Dunk plays across to Van Hecke. So Brighton have Bart Verbruggen in goal. 5 changes from the 1-0 win against Marseille on Thursday night. The late goal from João Pedro, who starts on the bench today, that has seen them automatically through to the last 16 of the Europa League. Some achievement winning that group against the likes of Marseille, Ajax and AEK Athens. Joel Veltman and James Milner in as the full-backs. Van Hecke and Dunk, the 2 centre-backs. Dunk is playing back to his goalkeeper. Verbruggen's closed down by Ødegaard, and it's played out to Dunk on the left-hand side. Billy Gilmour and Pascal Gross as the midfield 2. Adingra, Lallana, Matoma, with Evan Ferguson as the centre-forward. Here's Havertz, right in the middle of the Brighton half. Strokes a pass back to the black-booted Zinchenko. He, in turn, plays it to Rice. Rice fires his ball out to Ødegaard. It jumps up off the turf from Ødegaard's first touch, and the Brighton players were appealing for a handball. Tim Robinson waves it away. The assistant referee was right there. Saliba forward to Rice. This is now inside the Arsenal half. They work it back to their goalkeeper, David Raya, all in black. And Raya just takes a couple of touches very confidently, standing on the edge of the D, saying to the Brighton players, come and get me if you want. They don't. He floats the ball down the middle. It bounces off Martinelli. Zinchenko is there first, plays it forward to Havertz. Ødegaard goes past him on the outside, and Ødegaard quickly releases Saka. Saka against Milner, down by the byline. Saka beats him, cross comes in, and it's cleared off the line by Van Hecke. It was Jesus who threw himself at it, took a couple of deflections in the 6-yard box. Saka absolutely skinned Milner there.
It's going to be a long afternoon. And listen, that's not James Milner. Saka does this to a lot of fullbacks, but he'll fancy his chances against James Milner. So Milner's either going to have to get really tight to him and don't let him turn, but it's difficult. It's easy saying it than doing it out.
Easy sitting up here watching Bukayo Saka with the ball at his feet. That looked very easy for him. James Milner will know exactly what is coming his way this afternoon. The ball's back with David Raya. Aston Villa away at Brentford. Don't forget, Villa starting the day just a point behind Arsenal. Commentary of that one over on Radio 5 Sports Extra this afternoon. West Ham Wolves is also underway. Here's Martinelli, corner of the Brighton box, low cross in. Van Hecke is able to stretch and clear with his right foot. Veltman plays it to Lallana, who's knocked off the ball by Ødegaard. That was shoulder to shoulder, and Lallana does get the decision, and Ødegaard extremely frustrated with that. Right, West Ham Wolves, let's get an early update on that one. Lee Blakeman.
0-0. West Ham have just had a great chance. First corner of the game, swung in from the left. It was headed up into the air, just a couple of yards from goal. Bentley stayed rooted to his line. Nobody could force the ball over it though. We have had 6 minutes. West Ham 0, Wolves 0.
Commentary of that game is available online via the BBC Sports website and app. West Ham starting the day in 9th spot on 24 points, and Wolves in 13th on 19 points. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. The ball is back with the Brighton goalkeeper, Bart Verbruggen. Another one of these young players in this Brighton team, just 21 years old, rotating regularly with the more experienced goalkeeper Jason Steele. Gilmour to Lallana. Lallana back to Gilmour, wide on the left inside his own half, and Gilmour with a firm pass to Verbruggen. Low ball from him out to the right, then it's played down that right-hand touchline towards Adingra. Adingra's got Zinchenko breathing down his neck. Zinchenko's forcing him back down that right-hand touchline. Brighton have to come back into their own penalty area. Here's Verbruggen again. Verbruggen sees Dunk in a bit of space. Left-sided centre-back. Brighton's captain, 434th appearance for the club this afternoon. Back to Verbruggen. Ødegaard comes chasing again. Verbruggen strokes it out to the right again. Veltman's left-footed ball comes bobbling forward. Ferguson very deep from the centre-forward position to control. Still dribbling inside his own penalty area. Eventually gets the pass away to Lewis Dunk, and Dunk finds Milner wide on the left. Milner to Mitoma. Mitoma deep inside his own half. Nice football from Brighton though. Forward to Ferguson, on to Lallana. Lallana gliding forward with those dainty footsteps. Wide to Milner, back to Dunk. Dunk across the halfway line to Van Hecke. We are going to see some very pleasing football on the eye from both teams this afternoon, Clinton.
Definitely. You see Brighton, the way they kept the ball for the last couple of minutes, and Arsenal are pressing them well, but they beat that press. But they're patient, Brighton, but both teams are like that. It'll be a good footballing game this afternoon. Taking
to Brentford Villa shortly. Let's just see what Brighton can do with this attack. Adingra stops in his tracks and plays it back to Veltman. Van Hecke right on the centre spot across to Dunk. Dunk at walking pace at the moment. Just plays back to Van Hecke. He's got Veltman to his right, Dunk to his left, and he's just trotting slowly forward. Here's Dunk. Dunk to Mitoma. Mitoma against White will be a good battle as well. White half stops him. Milner's tackled by Saka. Saka inside his own half. Fouled by Mitoma. Free kick for Arsenal. Henry Moran is watching Brentford against Aston Villa.
Still goalless. Villa bristling with confidence, but it's Brentford that have come the closest. Damsgaard free in the box, but a fabulous save from Emi Martinez, the World Cup winner, anticipating where the ball was going to go, diving early, getting across. It's another brilliant save. Goalless after 9 minutes.
And as I said, commentary on that one over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. The sunshine's disappeared. It's just got a little chillier in the last half hour or so, but Clinton Morrison and I are certainly feeling replete. Is it your first Christmas dinner of the season, that, Clinton?
Yeah, in the press, but that was a good Christmas dinner.
Good.
Yeah, that was a very good Christmas dinner.
It was good. Free kick Arsenal.
Some people around us had desserts as well, Al, but I will not name no names.
Here's Saliba. Back to Raya. Raya on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area in his blue boots. Short ball forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard, diagonal pass looking to get Saka away down the right. Not quite the angle on it. And so Dunk is able to just jog back and play back into his own penalty area to his goalkeeper, Verbruggen, who's all in bright yellow, and he waits for Jesus to get very close before he plays it to Dunk. Dunk is able to squeeze a clearance out to Lallana, back to Milner, first time ball up to the centre forward Ferguson. Ferguson wrestling with Saliba. Saliba wins that battle. Mitoma gets to the loose ball, lobs it up in the air. Havertz in with a challenge, just beats Gilmour to it. And it's played back to Lewis Dunk. Be interesting to see, actually, Clinton, talking about a man who's playing in your role that you used to play, Evan Ferguson, up against Saliba and Gabriel this afternoon. Yeah,
because I like him. I think he's a good young striker. He's got huge potential, but you got to realise he's still young. But this will be a good battle, because as a pairing, these are probably two of the best in the Premier League at the moment.
Gabriel plays back to Raya. Raya is able to just walk forward to the edge of the penalty area. Low skidding clearance, not good enough. Intercepted by the young Ivorian Adingra with the streak of peroxide, blonde peroxide on the left-hand side of his head. Gilmour forward to Lallana, who's in the black cotton gloves. Across to Van Hecke, Mikel Arteta, furious with something, waving his right arm at his defenders. They've got to concentrate now because Ferguson's laying the ball off to Milner. Milner just plays it behind Adingra and slightly overhit the pass and has ballooned it straight out of play for a throw into Arsenal in their left-back position.
You know, they missed Estepinian. I do think they miss him. He was out and then he came back and now he's picked up another injury. He's key for them because I think him and Mitoma down that left-hand side, they combine ever so well.
Full time in the Championship today. 12 o'clock kick-off. It finished West Brom 1, Stoke 1. Declan Rice's ball out to the right. Bit of room for Ben White to work with. Prods it forward. Saka collects it just inside the Brighton half. Finds Ødegaard looking for the run of Saka. Gets beyond Milner. Milner gets in between Saka and the goal. Saka works it onto the left foot, low drive, straight up for Verbruggen, who saves.
Yeah, he's gonna need help, Milner, because Saka just plays it to Ødegaard and he then gets on his bike. But I think Dunk has to come over and help him, maybe Mitoma as well. They have to double up, or even Billy Gilmour or Lallana in there. But that's how Brighton play, expansive and open as well.
22-year-old Bukayo Saka against 37-year-old James Milner. James Milner, who's making his 630th Premier League appearance this afternoon, now just 2 behind Ryan Giggs, so he's going to go past Giggs.
Some career that is.
Oh, amazing. Very shortly. And he's 23, now 22 behind Gareth Barry, and Gareth Barry is the only one who will then remain ahead of him on the list. Adingra dribbling forward, fires the pass in hard at Ferguson, can't quite control it, and David Raya scoops it up. West Ham Wolves, Lee Blakeman.
0-0, Wolves with their first shot on target. Semedo cutting in from the right, teed up Cunha, edge of the area, right side of the box, tried the shot straight down the throat of Fabianski. 12 gone, West Ham 0, Wolves 0.
Coming up to 13 minutes played here at the Emirates Stadium. Gabriel Martinelli picking up the speed of running at Veltman. It's 0-0 here. Havertz, edge of the area, left-footed pass, just swung beyond Saka. Saka has to scurry towards the right-hand touchline to keep that in play. Saka fronts up against Milner. Milner just turns his left shoulder towards him to get in a jockeying position. The ball's back with Saka. Here comes Milner again towards him. Saka just lays it off to White. White into Rice. Brighton's defenders just closing the spaces carefully at the moment and precisely. Saliba forward to Rice. White to Saka. Laid off to Rice. Rice into that Brighton penalty area. Finds Saka. Saka's drive blocked. And the ball spins away, and I think will go out for throw-in to Arsenal on the right.
It's all down this right-hand side. It's Saka. They've identified that Saka has got the beating of James Milner, and it's him and Declan Rice combining a lot on this right-hand side. But it's a good block from Dunk. You're spot on.
It was Igor Julio, the Brazilian, signed from Fiorentina in the summer, who started at left-back against Marseille in midweek. Milner today. White to Ødegaard. Ødegaard dummies the shot, then hits it just wide. Was just looking to curl that beyond Verbruggen into the far corner. From this angle here, you can see exactly what he was trying to do, and he very nearly did it as well. And actually then, as club captain and team captain, Clinton, he starts whirling his arm round, saying to the Arsenal fans, come on, need a bit more from you today.
Yeah, definitely. But Van Bruggen, I think he had it though covered, but it was good play, you're right, Ali, between Ben White and Ødegaard, who started the game ever so well, and Brighton just haven't started yet, can't get out and are not closing down good enough. And when they do that, Van Bruggen, he gives it away to Saliba.
Just like then, yeah, Saliba to Zinchenko. Applause from the Arsenal fans as Arsenal start to work the passes again inside the Brighton half. 15 minutes played, 0-0. A red and white checkered flag waving furiously behind that goal away to our right. Arsenal playing from left to right towards the clock end. That big circular white-faced clock with the black hands, which dominates the skyline away to the right. Ball is with Declan Rice. Arsenal in the red and white. White forward to Saka. Oh, Milner stretched in to try and take it off Saka. That's a foul. And Tim Robinson's going to call James Milner over.
But I don't think he's going to book him.
No.
I think he's just going to have a word. He needs to be careful. This is what I'm saying. I've seen it before with Brighton. I saw it when Doku played, and they leave James Milner isolated one-on-one. You can't, at his age, leave him isolated one-on-one, especially when he's playing against quick wingers. That is a yellow card, to be fair, but he's not going to give him it.
Bukayo Saka is complaining. He's up on his feet and he's okay. Mikel Arteta initially led the complaints while Saka was on the floor, and I think James Milner's just been told here by Tim Robinson that's it.
It's a yellow card, Ali. You know, even Tim Robinson can warn James Milner as much as he wants. It is a yellow card. The letter of the law says that is a yellow card.
Latest scores in the WSL, the early kickoffs this afternoon. Deep into added time, Liverpool's women 2-1 up away to Manchester United. Manchester City leading comfortably away to Everton by 3-0. And in the early stages, Bristol City's women 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea on 22 points, Arsenal on 22 points, and Manchester City heading towards 22 points as well. Back underway here at the Emirates Stadium. Jesus plays it to White. White to Saliba. Saliba across to Gabriel. Ferguson comes sprinting towards him for Brighton. Wide it goes to Martinelli. Good tackle on Martinelli there. Brighton try and counter-attack down the right. Veltman made the tackle and he wins the throw. And he's going to take that throw quickly as well.
I was going to say, could they swap the fullbacks, but then Martinelli's just as quick as what Saka is, so it's a difficult one. But Veltman's done all right against Martinelli so far.
Brighton playing it around inside their own half. Dunk to Pascal Gross. Gross in between the centre-backs. Forward to Lallana. Back to Gross. Gross to Ferguson. Ferguson to Dunk, and Arsenal just stand off for the minute. So Gross is able to creep forward with the ball at his feet. Across to Dunk. Breeze just grabbing at the back of Lewis Dunk's shirt. Blue number 5 on the back of it. He receives the ball again in front of his manager, Roberto De Zerbi. Down the line to Milner. Milner sweeps a pass infield. First time to Van Hecke, and Brighton feel they can get out down the right-hand side here. Wide it goes to Adingra. Support on the outside from Veltman. Adingra lays it off to Veltman. Comes back to Van Hecke. Cross here to Gross. Gross to Gilmour. Gilmour 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. Lallana loose first touch. Can't keep it. Havertz prods a pass to his right and Saka's away. And Matoma's got to get chasing back for Brighton. Saka still going with the ball at his feet. Matoma's eventually caught up with him. Saka stops, plays the ball back to Ødegaard, edge of the area. Cross it comes to White. White looks up, thinks about an early cross, instead lays it back to Rice. To Ødegaard. Short passing between the two Arsenal midfielders. Rice towards Saka. Saka just trying to shake off the attentions of Milner. Finds Jesus. Here's Ødegaard again. 30 yards out in a central position. Across to Zinchenko. Back to Gabriel. Relentless precision passing from Arsenal at the moment. Rice round the corner to Ødegaard. Ødegaard slides it forward to Jesus. Jesus sizes it up, hits the shot straight at Verbruggen, who makes a comfortable save. Right, Manchester United's women against Liverpool's women all over in the WSL. Here's Nick Hatton.
Yes, it is. It's the first ever WSL win for Liverpool over United. It's finished Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. Ella Toone giving United the lead after just 3 minutes. A Millie Turner own goal leveled things up on 32. It was the captain, Taylor Hines, though, who got the decisive goal for Liverpool, volleying in from a corner on 68 minutes. Massive, massive win for Liverpool. It's finished here. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2.
And of course, Liverpool, Manchester United at Anfield with John Murray and Dion Dublin. Our 4:30 commentary in the Premier League this afternoon. Throw in one by Arsenal, wide on the left. I can see in the WSL table as well. Liverpool's win moves them level on points with Manchester United. So they are both on 18. And on Sports Extra tonight in the WSL, Aston Villa against Brighton. Coverage starts at 6:30. We've got full commentary on that one. Ødegaard receives it from Saka just inside the Brighton half. Havertz back to Rice. Rice fizzes a pinpoint diagonal out to Martinelli. Martinelli with Veltman trying to get a tackle in. Veltman's hurt, having made the challenge. Play continues. Jesus, Martinelli on the outside. Jesus shoots, took a deflection. Goes past the near post, corner for Arsenal. Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, good play, but it looks like Veltman's pulled up. Another maybe injury for Brighton, because I don't know if there's contact with Martinelli, or he might have caught his knee, but he looked like he did pull up, and I don't know if it was a major injury for him, obviously, to pull up, because it's a good opportunity, a good play from Martinelli and Jesus.
Brighton medical team are racing onto the field. I think you're right, Clinton. It looks like a sore one on the right knee as he stretched to try and make that challenge. Arsenal are waiting to take the corner here. While we wait for Joel Veltman to receive treatment, why don't we check in on the other games in the Premier League that are kicked off at 2 o'clock this afternoon. West Ham Wolves being watched by Lee Blakeman.
West Ham 0, Wolves 0. West Ham have just had a free kick 30 yards out, and even the most ambitious James Ward-Prowse supporter might have thought it's a little bit too far out. He went for it, up and over, on target, but it was an easy save in the end for Bentley. 0-0.
And Henry Moran is watching Brentford against Aston Villa. Henry.
Brentford 0, Villa 0. A couple of big penalty shouts for Brentford. I didn't know if I was watching the Premier League or WrestleMania as Ben Mee was hauled down, but nothing doing according to David Coote, the referee. 20 minutes gone. Brentford 0, Villa 0.
Shouldn't forget as well, Scottish League Cup final kicks off at 3 o'clock. Hampden Park. That's Rangers against Aberdeen. So Gavin Wallace will keep us updated on that one. Veltman's back to his feet for Brighton. Still looks a little sore and will obviously have to leave the pitch for a while, so Brighton are going to be a man down while they defend the Arsenal corner. Brighton starting this game 8th spot in the Premier League table on 26 points, and as I said at the start of commentary, with this fabulous recent record at the Emirates Stadium. Whistle blows and we're just about to get back underway. Approaching the midway point in the first half. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Corner in from the left, drops in towards the near post. Jesus controls it. Lallana behind him, tries to turn Lallana, stretching. Adingra makes the tackle. The clearance hits Saliba, falls to White, drops to Zinchenko. Zinchenko sees Saka in space on the right. Now Gabriel is wide of Saka, has stayed out wide on that right wing. Plays it back to Saka, who returns the pass to Gabriel. Saka makes a little sortie into the penalty area. White to Ødegaard. Ødegaard across to Rice, immediately closed down by Ferguson. Adingra tries to close Zinchenko down, gets the pass here to Martinelli. Scoot cross to the far post. Gabriel attacks it, and Verbruggen makes the save from the header.
Yeah, it's good play. To be fair, you could see Brighton at the 10 men, because Veltman was down that left-hand side and Martinelli got half a yard, but I just think he had to do too much, Gabriel, to get the header from Van Bruggen. But yeah, comfortable save. But Arsenal, they're cooking at the moment. They are,
yeah. Midway through this first half, Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Dunk plays it forward to Mitoma, tackled by Rice, fouled by Rice just outside the Brighton penalty area, and a goal at West Ham. Lee Blakeman.
Goal, West Ham 1, Wolves 0. Kudus away down the right, cut in from the right side on his left foot, took it to the edge of the area and rifled it past Bentley. A great strike, it really is. West Ham 1, Wolves 0.
Thank you, Lee. Prompts me to ask whether Clinton Morrison has got Mohamed Kudus in the fantasy team.
You know what, someone said to me the other day, put him in, but I stuck with Cole Palmer, so I'm happy with Cole Palmer. Yeah. But he's a good player, Kudus. He's a very good player.
Cole Palmer did well for his FPL managers yesterday. I'm delighted to say Clinton's going to make his debut on the Fantasy 606 podcast this week. The latest one will be out next Thursday, so we're looking forward to that. And of course, every day the Football Daily podcast for all the reaction and analysis to today's football. There for you on the BBC Sounds app as Brighton attack down the inside right channel. Gross to Adingra, clever from Adingra, knocked it through the legs of Zinchenko, tries to get the cross in, blocked at the near post. Adingra gets another chance, starting game after game after game at the moment. Simon Adingra for Brighton. I think this is a 14th consecutive start in all competitions. Dunk on the left, Milner hugging the touchline, dunk into the Arsenal penalty area, cross with the outside of the right foot, and Gabriel just sort of cushions it off his right thigh up into the air, and Raya is able to come and grab it. That was a rare Brighton attack. 24 minutes played, and it's pretty much been all Arsenal so far.
And it has, and you was thinking Lewis Dunk keep going, because no one came out to him. It's a good ball with the outside his foot, but didn't have enough bodies in there. There was only Ferguson. I think Pascal Gross was trying to get in there. They need to get Mitoma into the game. He's been really quiet.
Here's Raya, Arsenal's keeper, outside his penalty area. Martin Ødegaard's 8 yards in front of him. Raya's just edging forward. Then he clears long with his left foot.
He does not look comfortable on the ball, Raya. Like, he doesn't need to force it. He can just keep it simple. But he's rushing and he's panicking at the moment.
It's come all the way through to Verbruggen.
He's struggling. He's going off Veltman.
Oh,
He's
Veltman's
gone down again.
Yeah, Veltman down on both knees, having made that challenge on Martinelli about 5 minutes or so ago. More treatment, but as Clinton says, that may have to be an early change for Brighton here. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. And immediately, as we get to this break in play, I can see Roberto De Zerbi calling some of the key men over. Billy Gilmour, straight into Billy Gilmour's ear as Billy Gilmour is having a drink. So 0-0. Mikel Arteta doing the same with his Arsenal troops as well. Why don't we check in on Brentford Villa while Joel Veltman continues to receive more treatment. Here's Henry Moran.
Still goalless. Villa exerting their confidence, their superiority on a Brentford side, but yet to really create a big chance. Matty Cash putting a ball wide from a Pau Torres cross a moment ago. Brentford offering, but not necessarily quite with as much threat as Villa. Goalless.
And last we heard from Lee Blakeman, West Ham had taken the lead. Here's Lee.
Still West Ham 1, Wolves 0. That great strike from Kuda separates the two teams. Paquetá has gone close with a shot over the bar, and West Ham have just caused a few problems from a throw-in too. It's West Ham attack after West Ham attack at the moment, but still just the one goal. West Ham 1, Wolves 0.
Just to remind you as well, your choice of listening this afternoon. So West Ham Wolves available as a commentary online via the BBC Sports website and app. Charlie Slater and Joby McAnuff, your commentary team there, but also Brentford Villa available via Radio 5 Sports Extra. Whole range of sports on Sports Extra this afternoon. After Brentford Villa, we'll pick up on Harlequins against Toulouse in Rugby Union's European Champions Cup. After that game is finished, WSL action is Villa against Brighton. Coverage starts at 6:30, and then the regular NFL on a Sunday night. Cowboys at the Bills this evening. Veltman off, and it means that Jack Hinshelwood comes on. And I think normally, Clinton, you'd say 18-year-old comes on at right back. Crikey, Arsenal are going to see that as a real opportunity to attack. Hinshelwood has really done well, hasn't he?
He's been excellent. I think most Brighton fans coming there thought he may be starting one of the full-back areas this afternoon. He's been excellent since he's coming at 18 years of age. Yeah. Definitely took his chance out.
3 Premier League starts so far this season, on early in this game, and of course scored that late winner against Brentford not so long ago. Brighton playing out. Milner's taken his eye off the ball. It's rolled under the studs of his left boot, and it's gone out for a throw into Arsenal. Everton have scored in the WSL against Manchester City, just past the hour mark there, but Manchester City still leading by 3-1, and Chelsea, the league leaders, 1 up already away to Bristol City. Saliba on the ball for Arsenal, plays a pass back to Raya. Raya, couple of touches forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard plays the 1-2. They create space for Jesus, who's midway inside his own half. Raya plays across to Saliba. Saliba to Ødegaard. Ødegaard very happy to take it there, just drags Mitoma with him. Gets the ball back from Ben White. Ødegaard back to Raya. Now Raya's closed down quickly here by Ferguson, who steams across as well to continue the closing down. Saliba clears. Jesus strong to hold off Gilmour, but as his arm came out, he's caught Gilmour in the face. The referee's seen that clearly. He's given a free kick for the contact. Don't think he's going to do any more than that. It's not deliberately whacked him in the face. I've been a centre
forward. You just try to ease him off and manoeuvre him off, but he catches him, and it is a foul. But it's definitely not a yellow card.
Just wondered what that round of applause was for.
Welbeck, I saw him. I was going to tell you how it was Welbeck coming in. I looked and said, oh, he's getting a good reception. I thought, that's not Arsenal player, it's Danny Welbeck.
Yeah.
I think every club he goes to, he gets a good round of applause. He's been good at all the clubs he's played for.
Yeah, great goal-scoring record for his country as well. Always remember that, Danny Welbeck. Pretty much, I think, a goal every other game for England when he played. Brighton delighted to have him fit again. Last appearance for him was towards the end of October against Manchester City. One of the Brighton substitutes, Van Hecke, plays the ball back to his goalkeeper Verbruggen. So we're coming up towards the half-hour mark, and Jesus stretches and very nearly intercepted the ball out from Verbruggen, but it reached Van Hecke, and he's floated it forward to Ferguson. Young Irish centre-forward, chests it down, muscled off the ball by Saliba. Saliba swatting challenges aside, then he's knocked over by Pascal Gross, and Arsenal win the free kick.
Just getting a bit spicy, that's it now. That's what we wanted. Brighton have come into the game, and Arsenal, they're desperate to get this first goal, because at the moment, Van Bronckhorst, you ain't really seen him make an outstanding save, have you, Al? They've all been comfortable for him.
Arsenal have taken their free kick, and they found Saka away on the right, which is an avenue there enjoying exploring. Saka against Milner this afternoon. Milner sees an opportunity to get a tackle in on Saka. Saka too quick for him, got the pass away to Ødegaard. Ødegaard running across the Brighton half, into the feet of Jesus, back to Gabriel, forward to Havertz. Havertz turns, plays his pass to the left to Martinelli, takes on Hinshelwood, crossing, Dunk chests it back really cleverly to his goalkeeper, stooping awkwardly, just got the right contact and lobbed it up to Verbruggen.
It's brilliant defending. It's calm. It's Lewis Dunk. That's how he's been. That's why he's in and around the England squad at the moment. Really calm defending. Most defenders would just put their foot through it. He chested it back. Really good defending.
16 goals in 42 England caps for Danny Welbeck.
And no, for England, he was outstanding, to be fair. He was a real asset.
Ben White with a tackle and a clearance, got the ball, got some of Mitoma, and it's gone all the way through to Bart Verbruggen, who plays it out to Billy Gilmore. Back to Dunk. Ødegaard comes racing in again. Dunk gets rid of it quickly. Ferguson's gone down, holding his face. Gabriel and Ferguson were running towards that ball. Ferguson will not complain though, picks himself up and jogs back into the action. Jesus back to Zinchenko. Cross to Saliba. Saliba to White. Tomiyasu still out injured for Arsenal at the moment. Jorginho not involved today either, not named amongst the substitutes, as Jesus plays down the left to Martinelli. Martinelli's going to take on Hinshelwood, who's backpedaling, sticks out a left leg. That doesn't stop Martinelli. Still going just outside the penalty area. Then Pascal Gross comes towards him. Martinelli eventually lays it off to Havertz. Jesus to Zinchenko. Ball falls nicely for Zinchenko, just sort of works his way through a tackle. Did it hit a hand? Asked Brighton. Referee Tim Robinson shakes his head. Wide to White on the right. Back to Saka. Saliba across to Rice. Rice to Ødegaard. What a lovely ball with his left foot. Saka's cut back and it's over the bar from Gabriel Martinelli. The pass from Ødegaard was a joy to behold. The cut and spin on that with the outside of his left foot just to put the exact right pace on it for Saka. Saka's cut back, found his man, couldn't finish it.
The pass is outstanding. One of the passes of the season. He put all sorts of spin on that and cut back, and it was a great little cutback from Saka, and Martinelli really should be making it 1-0, but pass from Ødegaard, outstanding football.
13 minutes remaining in the first half. Clinton Morrison enjoying the action with us at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. West Ham leading Wolves by 1-0, and it's still Brentford 0, Villa 0. Brighton have lost it inside their own penalty area. Ødegaard strokes a little ball into the box. Van Hecker's there, and he's able to clear it. And Brighton get lucky. 2 balls on the pitch. Ben White wanted to take a quick throw. Brighton quite happy to see the replacement ball get thrown onto the field, and Ødegaard quickly gets rid of it.
See, I'm all for Brighton playing out from the back. They're going to get punished though, because they can't get out at the moment. So maybe sometimes you need to get up.
Ben White about to take the throw. Another goal at West Ham. Lee Blakeman.
2 for West Ham, 2 for Kudus. West Ham lead Wolves 2-0. Great crossfield pass. Picked out Kudus inside right, moved into the area, buried it past Bentley just after Wolves had a great chance too. West Ham 2, Wolves 0.
Clinton, we should have got him in. Here come Arsenal. Zinchenko to the corner of the box. Martinelli's right-footed cross blocked. Bounces for a dinger on the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal players buzzing all around him, and Havertz, just over-eager with the challenge, barges into the back of a dinger. As soon as he felt the contact, was happy, went down, and quite rightly wins the free kick. So Arsenal 0, Brighton 0, but West Ham leading Wolves by 2-0 in the Premier League. Ball played across to Dunk. West Ham, of course, like Brighton, winning their Europa League group, straight through to the last 16 for them, as Rice plays forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard in a central position, 35 yards out. Dunk does enough to hold him up, and then he just backs off. Ødegaard to Rice, quickly out to Saka. Saka teasing Milner at the moment. Ødegaard's just behind Saka. He's about 5 yards outside the box on the right. White finds Jesus. Jesus is able to turn quickly on the edge of the area. Now Ødegaard gets it from Jesus. Ødegaard's looking to find that killer pass. Curls one across the face of the box to Zinchenko. Wide to Martinelli. Martinelli skips past Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood sticks to the task though, in front of him again, and actually does well. His tackle knocks the ball onto Martinelli's legs. Goal kick for Brighton.
Yeah, good. Listen, it's always going to be hard against Martinelli. We were speaking about him before in the early part of the show, and he's lively. It's hard for a defender. He can go inside, he can go outside. Young Hinshelwood, since he's come on, has done well against him. But Brighton will concede eventually, because they're playing out from the back and they've got no one to hit. Now they're doing it because they've got 4 up the pitch.
Verbruggen from the goal kick receives it from Van Hecke. Goes wide to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood's pass down the right-hand side, intercepted by Zinchenko, just got enough on it and knocks it out for the throw-in to Brighton in Rugby Union's Champions Cup today. Exeter beaten at home by Munster. Exeter 20, Munster 24 in the Challenge Cup. Cheetahs 25, Sharks 29, and Montpellier have been Ospreys 26-5. Harlequins Toulouse kicks off at 3:15, and our Rugby Union correspondent Chris Jones will bring us the updates on that one. Declan Rice on the ball for Arsenal. Plays forward to Havertz inside his own half. Round the corner he goes to Jesus. Jesus back to Zinchenko. Plays back again to the edge of the penalty area. Saliba across to White. White forward to Saka. Milner's come high up the pitch to try and cover Saka. Saka's played it beyond him to Rice. Rice has got 2 Brighton defenders for company. Gross makes the tackle and Arsenal win the throw.
See, it's so hard because when it's building up, you're seeing Saka and Milner's thinking, do I go tight with him or do I drop off? And it's hard because if you go tight, it'll spin you. If you drop off, it'll run at you. So it's a difficult one for Milner at the moment.
Saka's left-footed ball, having received the throw from Ben White. Plays it across to Gabriel on the halfway line. Zinchenko just plays it in between Ferguson and Adingra. Declan Rice on the run. Lays it off to Martinelli. Martinelli comes in from the left-hand touchline, 40 yards from goal, across to Rice. Rice sees Havertz, edge of the box, lays it back quickly to White. White across to Saka. Saka against Milner again, but this time closer to goal. Saka with the outside of his left foot just stabs it towards Ødegaard. Ødegaard to Saliba. Saliba threads one through to Rice. Rice plays to his right to White. Back to Ødegaard as the chance of Arsenal start to build. Good challenge by Billy Gilmore. Takes it off Ødegaard, played back to Milner. Milner clips one forward with his left foot, only as far as Saliba. Saliba's cushion pass reaches Ødegaard. Ødegaard lays off to Havertz. Havertz right in the middle of the Brighton half, finds Zinchenko, and Zinchenko tries to get away from Adingra, and Adingra's clipped him, and that'll be a free kick to Arsenal. And Zinchenko, quick thinking, wanted to take it quickly, not close enough to the spot where the foul was conceded, and Saka's annoyed because he was free and he smashes the ball into the advertising hoardings.
Yeah, it's literally 2 yards, isn't it, Alec? Just let the game flow. I understand Tim Robinson, and he still didn't he took it from the same place and he gave it away.
Giving it away, and then Mitoma's trying to get away from Ben White, and Ben White's
that would be a yellow card.
And then Ben White gets booked, and the Arsenal fans are absolutely livid because they're saying to themselves, well, James Milner didn't get booked for hacking our man Saka down, and then Ben White. I mean, if you drag a player back like that, like Ben White's done, that's a yellow card.
But I can understand the fans are frustrated because the Milner one's a yellow card as well. They're both yellow cards. Yeah. He just missed the first one from James Milner.
Right, Tim Robinson's got the home fans on his back. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. West Ham leading Wolves by 2-0. Remains Brentford 0, Villa 0. Those are the 2 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League, and a real treat for you this afternoon. Still remains, will always remain, one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game in English football. Liverpool against Manchester United. Full commentary from Anfield in the company of John Murray and Dion Dublin, and they'll take you all the way through to 6:06.
Oh, if I said to you now, like, Ben White's been booked and you're Brighton, who do you keep feeding the ball to?
Get him in the game.
That's
You're
what
right.
I mean.
You said it ages ago, didn't
he
you?
just got him booked. Keep giving him the ball.
Yeah, he's not involved,
exactly.
Is he? Saliba to Ødegaard. Ødegaard, now that is a lovely incisive pass to Zinchenko, forward to Martinelli, into the box at speed, angles tight for him, down to the byline, well blocked at the near post, falls to Havertz, brilliant block by Van Hecke this time. Verbruggen blocked the initial cross, and then Van Hecke made the block on the Havertz shot, and both of those goal bound for Arsenal. Remains Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Lallana was fouled by Ben White there, just outside the penalty area, Brighton's penalty area. That's a free kick for Arsenal. Yeah,
they're frustrated, Arsenal, because they think they should be winning the football match, but that is a foul. Ben White catches Lallana, but Brighton, they still tried to play out from the back, and where Evan Ferguson is dropping so deep, they have no one to hit.
Free kick for Brighton, I meant. They've taken that free kick, and Zinchenko has intercepted a long ball forward, and he's got a pass back from Martinelli, and then his cross is blocked by Pascal Gross, and it goes behind for an Arsenal corner. So Arsenal on top towards the end of the first half. Plenty of possession so far. Not really forced Bart Verbruggen into a meaningful save, other than that block at the near post just now from the Martinelli cross, which could have found a teammate. Other than that, a couple of shots that have been straight at him and have been comfortable to save. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds live at the Emirates. Corner from the left, in it comes, flicked on at the near post, but flicked over the bar by Declan Rice, and behind for a Brighton goal kick.
Yeah, it's a good run from Declan Rice, but there's not enough pace on it, and he gets over it, under it, and it goes over the bar. But you can see what Brighton are taking their time. Arsenal fans are getting frustrated, but why would you not? I wouldn't play quickly.
Referee stepping in to have a word. He's onto this now. Lewis Dunk picks the ball up, comes to speak to the referee. Just to be absolutely clear on this, we'll see a replay on Verbruggen's block on Martinelli's cross initially, and then it's Van Hecke who gets his body in the way on a well-struck.
It's a great block. Shot. You said it, Al. It was a great block from Van Hecke. Brilliant, brave defending.
Right, conversation over. Goal kick about to be taken. Match of the day 2 tonight. BBC 1 at 10:30. Ian Wright and Alan Shearer alongside Mark Chapman. Discovered, of course, haven't we today, Clinton, that Ian Wright stepping down from match of the day duties at the end of the season. So take the chance while you can.
No, I literally was driving that and I didn't hear that. No way, is he?
Wrighty said from the end of this season he's going to step down from match of the day. First time he ever appeared on the show was 1997. Yeah,
I saw the baggy suit he was wearing. That weren't good. We did speak in a week as well, but that baggy suit, he looked very young then, didn't he? He hasn't aged much.
He hasn't at all, has he? And I'm sure he'll be glued to this at the moment in the match of the day studio. So that's tonight, 10:30, BBC 1. At the moment it's 0-0. The ball is with Saliba. Saliba across to Raya. Raya, edge of the Arsenal D, rolls it forward. Jesus comes running towards the ball. Van Hecke's followed him all the way into the Arsenal half, right up the field there.
It's changed modern day football. Managers will go mad about that. Look where he is now.
Still watching him, isn't he?
Watching him. It's like he's man marking him.
Yeah, so Jesus didn't immediately move out of the Arsenal half, and Van Hecke just stayed within sort of 5, 6, 7 yards of him. Now Ødegaard on the run, brings the ball up to the halfway line for Arsenal. West Ham still leading Wolves by 2-0. Remains Brentford 0, Villa 0, and it was West Brom 1, Stoke 1 in the Championship earlier on today. Here's Saliba. Saliba forward to Jesus in his bright orange boots. Back it comes to Gabriel. Zinchenko makes a darting run into midfield. He and Havertz swap places. Gabriel decides to use neither of them. Doesn't see anything on. Plays back to Saliba in the turquoise boots across to Saka. Saka hounded by Mitoma and Milner.
No, there's no difference.
Fouled by Mitoma.
Because he weren't going to give.
He's not booking for it.
He's not going to book him for it, because.
And Bukayo Saka is having a word with the fourth official. He's turned to Darren Bond and says, "What is going on?"
Yeah, he is booking him.
And now he does get booked. Mitoma. So as Tim Robinson basically reacted there to the protestations of Saka and Arteta,
which is weak refereeing, to be fair. It's weak refereeing, and this is why they get criticised. Stand up and own it. And he's going to book Arteta as well.
Right, okay.
And I respect that as well, because he should. Because Arteta does it too often, where he goes and jumps in the fourth official's face.
Absolutely impassive Mikel Arteta as the yellow card was raised to him by Tim Robinson, but Mitoma is the one who gets booked for Brighton, when actually it's Milner who should have been booked earlier in the half.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mitoma on the yellow card, Ben White on the yellow card, and those two up against each other in this game. Back underway, Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Raya forward to Ødegaard. Raya, edge of his own penalty area. Hurried pass I should say, to White. White back to Saliba. Nice skills from him. Takes it inside of Milner. Wide right to Jesus. Forward to Saka. Saka skips past Van Hecke. Slightly overran it with his first touch. Van Hecke infield to Gilmour. Gilmour forward to Ferguson. Brighton looking to hit Arsenal with a sucker punch late in the first half, having won on their last 3 visits here. I was here back in May as Arsenal's title challenge was fading fast, and watched Brighton win that game by 3-0. Julio Enciso, Dennis Undav and Pervis Estupinian, the goal scorers for Brighton that day. Good noise inside the stadium at the moment. Lewis Dunk's on the ball for Brighton, under pressure from Saka, just pokes it back to his goalkeeper Verbruggen. Forward to Gilmour. Gilmour goes for a lofted spinning ball to the right. It's beyond Hinchelwood and goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal late in this first half. Back with Steve Crossman at half-time. Half-time updates, details on the first halves in the Premier League at Brentford, Villa and West Ham Wolves as well. Here's Rice inside his own half, trying to make things happen for Arsenal. bobbles a pass to his left to Gabriel. Gabriel immediately returns it to Rice, and Rice with a low pass across to his right to White. Forward to Saka, trying to knock it past Milner, collect it the other side. Milner gets something on it, and the ball runs back to White. Infield to Rice. Back to Saliba. Forward to Ødegaard. Lovely silky touch and turn to get away from Mitoma. Played across to Gabriel. Martinelli comes in off the left-hand touchline. Hits the pass over the head of Ben White. Arsenal have worked this well. Saka's got some space to run at Milner here. Milner's backpedaling. Saka on the outside. Gross comes across to cover. Cross comes in to the near post, and Verbruggen is able to claim it just in front of Gabriel Jesus. Right, deadlock broken at Brentford. Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0, and it's a first Premier League goal for Keane Lewis Potter. Corner from the left-hand side. It dropped to him in the penalty area and prodded beyond Emiliano Martinez to give Brentford the lead. Brentford 1, Villa 0.
Aston Villa starting the day in third spot in the Premier League, having beaten Arsenal last weekend. Ødegaard finds Saka. This is Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Back to Ødegaard. Tees himself up for the drive, hits the shot hard, and Doug bravely blocks.
What a block.
Takes it full in the face. Gabriel Jesus on the ball inside the Brighton penalty area. 3 defenders immediately clustered behind him. Plays back to Zinchenko. Here's Rice. Bit of urgency at the end of the first half from the home team. So Brentford lead Villa 1-0. West Ham lead Wolves 2-0. And this is Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. White back to Ødegaard. Clever little ball forward to Saka. Gets it back from Saka. Ødegaard, little shake of the hips. Step over from Havertz. Falls to Jesus. Shot wide from Jesus with the instep of the right boot. It took a deflection.
Tim Robertson is having one. He didn't even take a deflection. What happened? Pascal Gross kicked it off Jesus, and that's why the shot was nowhere on target. This is what frustrates players about with the referee. Listen, everyone makes a mistake.
Yeah.
He's made about 5 or 6 so far. I might be wrong, Al, but please tell me on the replay.
Let's have a look. Oh no, we're not going to see it on the monitor because we're getting ready for the corner to be taken. Jesus turns and shoots you, but I think you might be right, Clinton.
Thank you, mate. I'm not always, but I'll take that out.
Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Added time at the end of the first half. Another Arsenal corner to come in from the left. Referee Tim Robinson has just blown his whistle to check everything's okay in the box. Blows it again and says you can take it when you're ready. In it comes from the left. Little deeper one this time. Edge of the 6-yard box. Van Hecke heads it up in the air. Ødegaard tries to bring it down out of the sky. Does so while Adingra is all over him as well. Brilliant control. Martinelli into the feet of Jesus. Back to Ødegaard. Martinelli, edge of the box. Arsenal fans wanting to shoot. He does so. It's blocked. Might fall for Saka. Saka and Mitoma battle for it. That hits Saka's hand, and then he hits the shot over the bar. And frustration continues to bubble away amongst the Arsenal faithful at the Emirates.
Yeah, Martinelli, I think he has that chance. You know when the crowd is saying to shoot, but I just think he takes that extra touch. Once he takes that extra touch out, he goes into Brighton bodies. One thing I'll say, Brighton, they haven't been good in possession, but they've defended brilliantly.
Certainly have. Free kick for them for the handball just outside the Brighton penalty area. Lewis Dunk waits to take. Hands on hips. Referee's not blown the whistle yet, so the Arsenal fans can have a go. Now he has, and Dunk just goes long. Good idea. One for Mitoma to chase. Saliba nods it to his right. Mitoma's there. Infield to Ferguson. Difficult one for him to do anything with. Miscue from Saliba. Ferguson onto it, plays it back to Pascal Gross, possibly a rare attacking opportunity at the end of the first half. Adingra takes on Zinchenko, cross in. Reyes spilled it up in the air and catches it at the second attempt with Ferguson right behind him, ready to head it in.
I'm telling you now, if Ferguson's closer to him, he gets a tap in, to be fair. It's a comfortable cross. It should be collected by David Raya, but you can see he's not comfortable. He's nervous at the moment, Al.
I watched Aaron Ramsdale start against Brentford when David Raya couldn't play, and he was very nervous.
They're both nervous. Because we're all talking about them, so they both know there's pressure every time they play.
You can see it. Ramsdale definitely settled down in the second half of that game, but you're right. David Raya has not looked totally at ease so far this afternoon. Van Hecke, how about that? Long ball, and just decided to, rather than head it away, bring it down on the right thigh and volley it away. This now falls to Ødegaard. His first touch gets away from him. Second attempt finds Saka though. Saka right-footed drive over the bar. Just got underneath it. It opened up for him. He went for power to try and beat Verbruggen, but he skied it. So waiting for the goal kick for Brighton. Half-time at Brentford, Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, Villa 0. Despite the away side's dominance in possession, they go in behind thanks to Keane Lewis Potter's finish through a crowded penalty area just before the break. They've had the better chances in this game. Brentford deserved their lead. Villa looking a little toothless. Brentford 1, Villa 0.
And the half-time whistle has blown at the Emirates Stadium, so that Bukayo Saka shot over the bar, the last kick of the first half. Lots of Arsenal possession. Clinton Morrison, have they really done enough with it, do you feel?
I don't think they've done enough. Van Bruggen's not had to make an outstanding save, but you got to give credit to Brighton. They've defended excellently. Arsenal dominated possession, but the aim of the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. They haven't done it yet. And the referees frustrated me in this first half, as you can tell, Al.
Yes.
But it's been a good game of football.
But that wasn't you booing and whistling there,
No,
Clinton.
never. I always show respect to the referee.
Absolutely right. Right, players off down the tunnel here at the Emirates Stadium. Brighton this season known for scoring goals and conceding goals, but so far neither thing has happened here in North London. At half-time, Arsenal 0, Brighton 0.
Clinton Morrison, I know it is a well-worn discussion around, perhaps Arsenal could do with someone really clinical in front of goal, but just looking at the half-time stats on the BBC Sport website, it's 0-0. The shot count, Arsenal 15, Brighton 0, and only 3 of those have been on target.
Well, we know, we've been talking about it. We know they need an out-and-out number 9, because Jesus, I like him. I think he's a really good striker. But sometimes, Crossy, he wants to drop too deep and he wants to link the player. I think he's exceptional. But they need a striker in and around that 6-yard box, because they dominate possession. Just stay in the 6-yard box and you'll score goals. But you're right, have to hit the target more.
Clinton, Ali, thank you very much indeed. So it's Arsenal 0, Brighton 0 at half-time in the Premier League, and half-time Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0. Whistle hasn't gone yet at the London Stadium, but it is West Ham 2, Wolves 0. Mohamed Kudus with both goals. In the Women's Super League, Manchester United lost 2-1 at home to Liverpool. That's full-time. Everton 1, Manchester City 4 is a later score. Half-time Bristol City 0, Chelsea 2. At 3 o'clock, Leicester face West Ham, and at 6:45, Aston Villa versus Brighton. We have had the half-time whistle now at the London Stadium. Lee Blakeman.
West Ham 2, Wolves 0. Kudus with both goals, Paquetá with both assists. The first came from a Wolves corner. Ball found Kudus on the right, midway inside the half, cutting in on his left foot, produced a great strike to beat Dan Bentley low to his left. Kudus made it 10 minutes later. Great ball from Paquetá again to pick him out. He rolled it past Bentley this time with his right foot. End of the half, Bowen hit the post in stoppage time, came back off the inside of the post. Wolves have gone close a couple of times with Cunha, but Fabianski has been solid, and West Ham fully deserved their 2-0 lead at half-time.
Already to stay in the Championship, finished West Brom 1, Stoke City 1. West Brom move back into the top 6. We will take you to Hampden Park shortly ahead of the Scottish League Cup final, Rangers versus Aberdeen, which is underway in 8 minutes' time. We will do that and talk rugby union after the latest news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Israeli officials say the Kerem Shalom border crossing into Gaza is allowing aid lorries to pass through for the first time since the attacks by Hamas on the 7th of October. There had previously only been limited deliveries through the Rafah border crossing from Egypt. It's hoped 200 aid trucks a day will now be able to access Gaza. The Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron has said there's an urgent need for a sustainable ceasefire in Gaza. He made the comments in a joint article for the Sunday Times with his German counterpart. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has strongly reiterated his opposition to a pause in fighting. The former Conservative peer Baroness Mohn has apologised for denying for 3 years that she was involved in a company which won a government contract to supply PPE during the pandemic. Baroness Mohn and her husband Doug Barrowman are being investigated by the National Crime Agency. They've described the government's handling of PPE as shambolic. And Network Rail's managing director for the Wales and Western region has resigned just days after passengers on the Great Western Line out of London was left stuck for hours in the dark because of problems with overhead power cables. Michelle Hanforth had been in the role for 3.5 years.
On BBC iPlayer. Who are you?
Health and Safety, Gin and Tonic Division. What's your name?
Ruby Sunday.
Hold on tight.
There are creatures.
Oh, yeah? Goblins. They're goblins.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
I can't believe a single thing that's happening.
Time travelers are great. Like the best. Like, wow.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor.
Doctor Who. Christmas Day on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
And we've got second half commentary on the way from the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. 3 games in Rugby's Champions Cup this afternoon. They all feature English clubs. Just moving into the final seconds right now. It's Exeter Chiefs 32, Munster 24. So Exeter are going to win that. Stade Francais against Leicester Tigers is at 5:30. 3:15 at the Twickenham Stoop. Harlequins versus Toulouse. Rugby Union correspondent Chris Jones is there.
Afternoon, Steve. What another great weekend of Champions Cup. Just gone full time at Exeter, 32-24. So Exeter, like Bath and Northampton, an English club that are 2 wins from 2. Can Harlequins do that this afternoon? What a 7 days it's been for Quins and their supporters. Last Sunday, the magnificent La Défense Arena, a famous win at Racing 92. Now the grand old club Toulouse are in town. 5 times European champions, world-class players everywhere Toulouse. Whether the magnificent French hooker Pieter Mavaca, the halfbacks Antoine Dupont, the great player, and Thomas Ramos. And at full black, Blair Kinghorn, the Scottish international, only joined Toulouse from Edinburgh in the middle of last week. Hit the ground running a few days after touching down with 2 tries against Cardiff. He joined us on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast, and he said, unsurprisingly, that silverware is on his mind since moving to France.
I've obviously wanted to win stuff in my career, and I've not been able to do that so far. So I think being able to come to such a great club with such great players, having the ability to go and win trophies is something that's definitely at the front of my mind. Developing as a player as well, like I spent my entire career in Scotland and in Edinburgh, so there was parts of me that kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, experience something new. Sometimes you can get a bit comfy and you maybe don't work as hard. Not saying that I didn't work hard back at Edinburgh, but it's certainly moving to a new club where nobody knows, you don't have any sort of reputation to try and prove yourself again and develop as a player and take the next stride in my career. Something it's exciting and it's nerve-wracking. It's the first time I've been away from home. First time I've been the new kid at a club. So it's a good challenge for me, I reckon.
Was it a case of you said you maybe wanted a change, but people could force a change and go to a club that doesn't feel right? I mean, Toulouse, we were having a chat on the pod last week. It's the greatest club in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I wasn't going to move for the sake of moving, it had to be with the right club, and then this has fallen into my lap. So don't quite believe that I'm fully here yet. It was strange running out of the weekend in front of a packed stadium. It's honestly insane out here. Like, the crowd get right behind you. They do rugby properly here.
And the style Toulouse play, that's also got to be something that for you as a player loves to get his hands on the ball, can play 10, play 15, play wing. That's got to be another part of it that just makes you so excited for what this season can bring.
Playing behind a great pack, and you can have front foot ball. It's what all backs want, especially backs who like to get their hands on the ball and kind of run into space. So it's much easier to do on front foot ball. See the amount of offloads that happen in a game. So yeah, the big lads deliver the momentum, and then there's usually quite a lot of space for us.
Blair Kinghorn there on the Rugby Union Weekly, which you can find right now on BBC Sound. So, Chris, having bigged up Toulouse so much, how do Quins go about beating them?
Yeah, really good question. Do a bit what they did against Racing 92, perhaps play quickly but ultimately play accurately, take their chances, shore up the set piece. Joe Marler, interestingly, is on the bench today with Finn Baxter starting a loose head. Danny Kerr of the Rugby Union Weekly fame is also on the bench. So Quins leaving a little bit in reserve. But if they are give possession up and they kick poorly against a team like Toulouse with Kinghorn, with Ramos, and with the greatest player in the world, Antoine Dupont, then they could be quickly embarrassed. But fascinating game. We've got one more later today with Stade against Leicester, Exeter, Munster, another thriller. The Champions Cup, the gift that keeps on giving just before Christmas.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you very much indeed. And in the Challenge Cup, 2 full times, Cheetahs 32, Sharks 29 and Montpellier 38, Ospreys 5. Liverpool beat Manchester United for the first time in the WSL earlier today. 2-1 win for them at Lee Sports Village. The player of the match and goal scorer Taylor Hines has been speaking to Sarah Mulcairns.
Big smile on your face, Taylor. How good does that victory over Manchester United feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I think this type of game is like another derby for us, so we went in this all guns blazing, and as you can see how happy we are, how happy our fans are, and that means everything to us.
And I know last time out last year it was 6-0, it was totally different emotions. Does that add to the feelings now?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've put that game way past us. We've got it's a new season, new team, new players, and you can see that we've added so much value to this team as well. So yeah, that game's way behind us, and yeah, I think that's why today feels even better.
And a lovely goal for you. Talk us through it.
Yeah, well, normally I'm not in the box, but normally I'm on the edge. But today I was in the box, and I said I'm going to score today, and yeah, that's what happened. And yeah, I'm pleased, and I'm pleased with the team's performance as well.
Taylor Hines with Sarah Mulkerrins. You can catch up on all the weekend's WSL action tonight on the Women's Football Show. That's 11:45 on BBC One. Teams out at Hampden Park for the first silverware of the season. It's the Scottish League Cup final. Aberdeen and Rangers. Gavin Wallace.
And Hampden, Steve, is absolutely bouncing. Like you say, the first silverware of the year up for grabs today. Rangers making 3 changes to the team that won in Spain midweek. Cantwell, Sterling and Ballingen all coming in, and Aberdeen only have 3 that start from their win over Eintracht Frankfurt. Mijoski's in, Shinnie's in, and Johnny Hayes all start for Barry Robson's men. We're in for a cracker today.
Thank you, Gavin. About 3 minutes to go until second half commentary, and Arsenal versus Brighton gives us time to go to Anfield for the first time today. Liverpool versus Manchester United in full coming your way at 4:30 this afternoon with Dion Dublin and correspondent John Murray. Good afternoon, John.
Yes, good afternoon, Steve. I'm looking across to my left to watch people taking their seats in the upper tier of the Anfield Road end for the first time for a Premier League match. They did have a test event during the course of the week, but that means that we'll have an attendance inside Anfield today of over 57,000. So the top tier won't be entirely full. In actual fact, you'll see it if you watch the pictures on the television later. The first 14 rows of the top tier will be empty. But other than that, obviously that pushes the attendance up to be what will be the biggest attendance inside Anfield for half a century.
And if you were going to pick a game to do it, this obviously would be the one.
Yes, I suspect it wasn't a coincidence that they were keen to meet the deadline for this one. And yes, Liverpool in such good form in terms of their results at home, having won every match they've played here at Anfield this season. And of course, as has been very, very well documented, the last 4 matches against Manchester United have included 7-0, 5-0 and 4-0 wins for Liverpool. So strong favourites, very strong favourites, particularly with Manchester United missing quite a number of players. No Bruno Fernandes, he's suspended, no Harry Maguire at the back, and it'll be very interesting to see what Manchester United do in their midfield. I don't think they've got too many options.
As one would expect, Erik ten Hag's response to all the questions about 7-0 last season has been, we can't play last season's game, we've got to play this season's game. But unfortunately, the reality is, last season they just won the League Cup, they just knocked Barcelona out of Europe. They arrive in far worse shape, and Liverpool seem to be in much better shape.
They do, and I think, though, that there is a little additional pressure on Liverpool coming into this match because of Manchester City's stumbles over the course of recent times, and obviously what happened to them yesterday. So, as has been much talked about from virtually the point that Crystal Palace equaliser went in yesterday, the fact that if Liverpool can win their 3 matches that are coming up in the Premier League, so this one, home to Arsenal next Saturday, which is also a 5 live commentary match, and then Boxing Day away at Burnley. Manchester City do not play in the Premier League until they get back from Saudi Arabia, and so the pressure is there because Liverpool know, and all connected with them, they have the chance to open up a 12-point lead over the champions.
Pressure, but also maybe a feeling that they haven't peaked yet, Liverpool.
Very much so, yeah. There's quite a feeling among Liverpool supporters that while the results have been what they are, and they've only lost once in the Premier League this season, the controversial defeat at Tottenham, and as I say, winning every match and scoring at least 2 goals in every match at Anfield this season, but this feeling persists that we still haven't really seen them at their best this season. So there have been very good spells within games, but not absolutely the finished product yet. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, John. Correspondent John Murray, who is at Anfield, Liverpool versus Manchester United. Really looking forward to that. 4:30 full commentary with John and Dion Dublin. These, though, are the sounds of the Emirates Arsenal versus Brighton in the Premier League. Remember, on 5 Sports Extra, you can listen to Brentford versus Aston Villa. The second half of that about to get underway with Brentford leading by 1-0. Remember, Villa might be able to go top of the Premier League this afternoon, but they'd have to turn that round for a start. Mohamed Kudus has scored twice already for West Ham. They are 2-0 up at Wolves. No West Ham player has scored a hat-trick since Mikel Antonio 3.5 years ago. And I know that because our own John Hunt, who never stops working, has just tweeted it. You can listen to that one on the BBC Sport website and app. Here on 5 Live, we're focused on the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Clinton Morrison's with Ali Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Steve. This isn't actually one of the Christmas tunes we picked, Clinton. So it was Peter we were chatting to ahead of the game today, who plays the tunes here at the stadium.
Yeah.
And he said, Christmas wish list, if you've got a tune, you can have it. And he's already played them before the game, didn't he? All 3 of our tunes went out bang in order.
It was good. I couldn't believe it. He was listening to us. He did well. Fair play to him.
Yeah. So it's Christmas tunes aplenty here at the Emirates. Brighton are back out on the field. Martin Ødegaard is about to lead the Arsenal team back onto the field as well. And John Murray there, of course, was just talking about Manchester City's latest slip-up yesterday. Arsenal well aware of that as well in this tight title race. Starting today, 36 points, a point behind the leaders Liverpool, but 2 points ahead of Manchester City, having played a game less. So they will be determined to try and get that win this afternoon. We were talking about nervous Arsenal goalkeepers in the first half in the form of David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale. I was watching the Arsenal mascot Gunnosaurus trying to save some penalties at half-time. I discovered on Drive Time's Fact of the Day this week, Tony, the slot we do, 5:20 every Friday. Tony Lives asks us football commentators a question. We get 3 choices. And try and beat him over the course of the season, try and beat each other over the course of the season. Gunnosaurus apparently is the highest paid Premier League mascot.
That doesn't surprise me.
Okay, apparently earns something like £70,000 a year. Now, what? I don't know, it's amazing if that's true.
I need to become a mascot.
Exactly. I was then asked, who is the lowest paid out of Gully the Seagull at Brighton, Pete the Eagle at Crystal Palace, or Billy the Badger at Fulham?
It's Pete the Eagle, isn't it?
Well, that's what I said, but I got it wrong.
Oh, wow.
It's Billy the Badger, apparently, at Fulham.
Fulham?
Yeah.
Got loads of money. I told Steve Parish he's got to pay him a bit more, Pete the Eagle.
Well, those were the figures that Tony Livesey gave me. That was Fact of the Day. It has been duly delivered in our Premier League commentary, and you can listen to the slot. That is me, John Murray and Ian Dennis taking on Tony Livesey every single week with footballing Fact of the Day. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Neither manager's made a change at half-time. Declan Rice plays the ball across here to Ben White. We've got Brentford leading Villa by 1-0. We've got West Ham 2 up on Wolves. But at the moment, this one is goalless, and lots of empty red seats you can see around the Emirates Stadium at the moment as people make their way back from the half-time refreshments. Arsenal, red body to the shirts, white sleeves, white shorts, white socks, defending the goal away to our right at the clock end of the Emirates Stadium. Ball being chased through the middle of the pitch here. The goalkeeper Verbruggen is there for Brighton, plays it out to Hinshelwood. His clearance is blocked by Havertz, and it goes behind for a Brighton goal kick. And they're in the familiar blue and white vertical stripes, white, solid white back to the shirt, so you can see the players' names and numbers on there. Blue shorts and blue socks. Arsenal, David Raya in goal. White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Ødegaard, Rice and Havertz. And Arsenal closing Brighton down inside their own half, have won it off them again. Martinelli forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard edge of the box trying to find Saka, who stretches. Verbruggen off his line quickly is able to save at Saka's feet. Saka, Jesus and Martinelli is Arsenal's front 3. And Brighton, the goalkeeper Verbruggen, who's just made the save, all in yellow away to our left, rolls the ball out to his centre-back Lewis Dunk. Veltman and Milner in the full-back positions. Couple of the changes, 5 changes made from the 1-0 win over Marseille. More pressure from Arsenal. They've won the ball off Brighton and taken a throw. Here's Ødegaard for Saka. Saka looking for the cutback. Last touch came off Saka. That'll be a Brighton goal kick. So Veltman and Milner, right back and left back. Van Hecke and Dunk, the 2 centre-backs. Gilmour and Gross, the midfield 2. Adingra, Lallana, Mitoma in behind Evan Ferguson. And I was reminded, Clinton, just watching the highlights of the first half at half-time, Arsenal fans during the fact that Brighton are, they feel, just taking a little bit too much time over the restart. The ball is with Verbruggen, edge of his 6-yard box, plays one up the middle of the pitch. Lallana tries to turn it round the corner. Is he going to get away with that? He's fouled. He gave the ball away. So 3 times in the first 2.5 minutes of this second half, Clinton, Brighton have literally gifted Arsenal possession 30 yards from their goal.
And you know what? I'm surprised he hasn't made changes, but you know why he's not made changes? They got a big game on Thursday night against Crystal Palace as well. So they play Thursday night. So that's why I thought usually he makes changes if things are not going according to plan. But I'm thinking with the injuries they've got and players coming slowly but surely coming back, he probably don't want to risk any changes at the moment.
The half-time highlights, what I was going to say, best chance of the first half really was the Martinelli one that he fired over the bar. It was the Ødegaard ball with the outside of his right foot that found Saka. Saka's cut back and Martinelli couldn't hit the target. Brighton attacking with Adingra. Ferguson's off balance, trying to turn on the edge of the box. Just does enough, actually, as he's falling to get the ball back to Lallana. Lallana plays a couple of quick 1-2s with Gross. Gross to Adingra. Adingra back to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood plays to Van Hecke. Van Hecke's got Gabriel Jesus in front of him. Across to the 18-year-old Hinshelwood, who's on for the injured Joel Veltman. Adingra, loose pass intercepted by Zinchenko. Adingra goes in to win it back. Brighton have it again inside the Arsenal half, and Billy Gilmour, little Scot with his left wrist strapped up with a white bandage, plays the ball, gets it back from Van Hecke, curling pass looking for the run of Gross. Rice heads it away for Arsenal. Here's tall figure of Havertz, cross to Rice moving at speed, crosses the halfway line, cuts infield, running across the Brighton half, gives it to Jesus. Hinshelwood with the challenge, Van Hecke's got it covered, plays it across the edge of the box, and Dunk gives it to Milner, who manages to get it back to Dunk, very nearly intercepted by Saka. Mitoma inside his own half. Brighton will continue to play and fizz those passes around.
It's brilliant football. Sometimes they take a big risk, but it is good football. When it comes off, it really does look well.
4.5 minutes gone in the second half. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Arsenal this season, home record in all competitions, 1-9, drawn 2, lost none, scored 32 and conceded just 8. But Brighton so far have prevented them from finding a way through. Plenty of time left in the game. Full commentary on Liverpool, Manchester United to come at 4:30 on 5 Live in the BBC Sounds app. Here's Gilmour, short pass to Lallana again. Lallana just lays it off to Gilmour. Play to Dunk. Dunk's 10 yards inside his own half. Draws Ødegaard in. Plays to Van Hecke. Van Hecke passes back to Verbruggen. Then the centre-backs move into position again for Brighton to receive a pass. Dunk gets that ball from Verbruggen. Milner lays it off to Gilmour. Gilmour to Van Hecke. Edge of the Brighton penalty area to Gilmour. Back to Van Hecke, who's hurried a little bit in this clearance, and Zinchenko steps in to intercept, can't control it, and it comes off the studs of his left boot and goes out for a throw-in to Brighton. So Arsenal 0, Brighton 0 at the start of this second half. Clinton talking about Brighton away at Palace on Thursday as the next round of Premier League fixtures begin, as we hurtle towards Christmas. We have, of course, got League Cup quarter-finals on the way, Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Commentaries for you on BBC Radio 5 Live as Martinelli receives the ball and thinks about running at Hinshelwood. Lays it inside to Zinchenko. Zinchenko confronted by 2 Brighton defenders. Back to Martinelli on the left, works it onto his right foot. Cross goes deep beyond Saka, but he does well to stretch and control that. Tries to get it back to Ødegaard. Brighton with a chance to play out. Gilmour back to his goalkeeper. I mean, red and white shirts all around him there as he plays the ball into the 6-yard box. Basically has a pass on goal. And there's Verbruggen's clearance, this time intercepted by Rice. That runs to Saka. Saka to Ødegaard. Ødegaard tackled by Van Hecke, and it goes behind for a corner. Brighton are giving Arsenal chance after chance after chance.
Yeah, I don't care about playing out from the back if you're Brighton, but you can do that Thursday night against Palace. I hope you do, Brighton, because I hope my old team punish you. It's a great opportunity. Rice does well, plays it to Saka. Ødegaard wants to take the extra touch. Just get your shot away first time.
Seen a couple of those. Jesus in the first half was guilty. Clinton Morrison picked up on it then. Mikel Arteta can't believe that Ødegaard didn't swing a boot at that one. Corner for Arsenal. Still Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Saka waits to take it. It's going to come in from the right. Arsenal players start to make their runs. In it comes, flicked on Van Hecke. Jesus heads it home. And this time Arsenal do find a way through. Gabriel Jesus couldn't miss from there. Left totally unmarked at the far post. Van Hecke was up to try and head it away. It was a glancing header across the face of his own goal. And Jesus just stoops and says, thank you very much. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0.
And you get what you deserve, Brighton. You deserve that anyway, because you're overplaying, giving away stupid possession, taking chances. And I don't know what the goalkeeper's doing coming out for that. Just stay on your line. Van Hecke's going to head it. If you don't come for the ball, then Jesus don't have a tap in at the back post. he doesn't feel me. Look, he comes into an area where he don't need to. Comes into an area, he's got no chance of getting there. Poor goalkeeping.
Yeah. If Verbruggen had stayed on his line, you're right, Jesus would have had a free header, but at least he would have had a better chance of saving it. Totally open goal for Gabriel Jesus, a third Premier League goal of the season, and as his name is read out by the stadium announcer, he points the forefinger of each hand to the sky to celebrate the goal. So, Arsenal, as it stands, top of the Premier League table. Win today takes them to 39 points, ahead of our second Premier League commentary of the afternoon, which is Liverpool against Manchester United live from Anfield. Gilmour. Here's Evan Ferguson. Ferguson plays it out to the right to Adingra. Adingra back to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood across the halfway line to Gross. Emirates Stadium in full voice again. And here's Gilmour.
Sorry to interrupt now. You know what? I'm all for playing out from the back, but if it's not working, surely you've got to have a plan B. You can't keep doing the same things and they don't come off. Evidently, you get punished.
Matoma chasing a ball down the left. He nearly got to that. It's Saliba who came across to save Ben White. Saliba sliding in, stretched out a long leg, and suddenly the pitch opening up for Arsenal. Havertz gliding forward, plays the pass behind Martinelli, who even before he's collected the pass shows his frustration. It wasn't a better ball. Martinelli into the Brighton penalty area. Step over, cross to the far post, intercepted by Milner. Jesus was waiting again, pretty much with an empty net at the far post. Arsenal get the corner.
Yeah, and it's obviously it was a good play from Brighton, but it's a good tackle from Saliba, and they just break. And Brighton's midfielder got no energy in there. There's no legs in there. They're all talented individuals, no legs, and they're breaking on them. This could get 2 or 3.
Okay. Roberto De Zerbi, just got an eye on him at the moment, hands in pockets, shiny white trainers on his feet, standing still with the black coat with the hood tied up tightly around his neck, just staring to his left, watching this Arsenal corner. 10 minutes gone, second half. Arsenal leading Brighton by 1-0. First goal came from exactly this scenario. Saka delivers deep to the far post. Jesus heads it back across the goal to the edge of the box. Ødegaard's volley, a couple of yards wide of the right-hand post and behind for a Brighton goal kick. Let's check in on Brentford Villa second half. Henry Moran.
10 gone in the second half. Brentford 1, Villa 0. That goal from Keane Lewis Potter before the break, giving Brentford the lead. Most of the play in Brentford's half, but Villa struggling to find any way through. Brentford 1, Villa 0.
Brighton take the goal kick short. Thank you, Henry, to Verbruggen. Verbruggen with a nice diagonal floated ball out to Hinshelwood. He lets it bounce and heads it here to Gross. Back to Hinshelwood. And Hinshelwood chased down by Martinelli. Has to play it back to Verbruggen across to Dunk. Dunk, that's going to be intercepted by Rice. They saw that coming a mile off. Here's Ødegaard on the ball for Arsenal. They've got the bit between their teeth now. Martinelli switches play to the left to Jesus. Jesus into the penalty area. Back to Martinelli. Curling effort headed away by Van Hecke. Only as far as Gabriel. Tackled by Ferguson, but the ball runs to Zinchenko. Arsenal recycle. And you sense they feel there's an opportunity, as you were just saying, Clinton, to seize momentum here and score another goal.
Well, it goes up to Lallana, who's a fantastic footballer. Declan Rice has got that extra yard of pace. It gets in front of Lallana, and that's where they've lost it. Midfield, they've not had the legs in midfield to compete. Pascal Gross, good footballer, but he needs people around him. But they're going to make, I think, a triple substitution.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I saw him call them all back. But
Bonanotte.
Yeah, Igor. Julio and João Pedro,
yeah, coming on for Brighton shortly. Havertz has shoved Dunk over. That'll be a free kick to Brighton. West Ham Wolves into the second half, being watched by Lee Blakeman.
West Ham still leading 2-0, chance apiece in the second half. Again heading over from a corner for West Ham, and Wolves have just seen Hwang inside the area with a shot towards the bottom corner, just deflected wide. West Ham 2, Wolves 0.
Cavalry on the way for Brighton in the blue and white. João Pedro, Igor Julio and Facundo Buonanotte. Matoma's just not seen enough of the ball. He's got it now. Wide on the left for Brighton. Ben White steps off. Milner on the supporting run on the outside. Cross comes in. Saliba heads it away. Saka, ball just hits him on the shins, but it works out. Laid off to Ødegaard. Saka slips as Arsenal try and bring it out from their own half. Hinshelwood steps in for Brighton. It's with Van Hecke. Van Hecke, outside of his right foot, plays to Dunk. Ødegaard just fancied nipping in there and nicking it. Couldn't quite get there in time. Hinshelwood to Gross. Gross back to Van Hecke. And now Dunk is able to bring it forward across the halfway line. He's got Gilmour on his right. Gilmour finds Hinshelwood. The 18-year-old just comes trotting across the halfway line, head up all the time, ball at his feet, little pass to Gilmour. No one there from Arsenal to put the pressure on this time. Gilmour floated diagonal to Mitoma. Mitoma up against Saka and White. Mitoma tries to go on the outside. Low cross with the left boot, volleyed away by Rice. Chested down by Dunk for Brighton. 40 yards out in the inside left channel. Sweeps a pass to the right. Gross lays it off first time to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood slides a pass into the penalty area. Dingra trying to turn. Back to Hinshelwood again. Hinshelwood goes wide to Gross on the right. Gross onto his left foot, delivers the cross towards the far post. White is up, beats Mitoma in the air. Milner read where that header was going to go, gets there first and plays it back to Dunk. Dunk wide to Milner. Milner thought about an early cross, instead gives it to the wizard of the dribble, Mitoma. Mitoma plays back to Gilmour. Gilmour across to Van Hecke, into the feet of Gilmour again. Back to Van Hecke. Brighton's 3 subs still waiting to come on. Promising move this though from Brighton. Plenty of possession. Can they turn it into a decent chance? They've won themselves a throw-in on the left. Another goal at West Ham. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves have got one back. West Ham 2, Wolves 1. Semedo with the cross. It's been tapped in by Sarabia, but I'm keen to see what VAR are going to say about this. There's a check at the moment, but for now it's West Ham 2, Wolves 1.
Okay, remains Brentford 1, Villa 0. Liverpool, Manchester United commentary on the way. Milner's coming off, Lallana's coming off, and Evan Ferguson's coming off. Clinton Morris.
Yeah, you can understand. They're getting to the latter years, apart from Ferguson. I understand it's a straight swap, but Lallana and Milner, obviously there's a game on Thursday as well. Will they be involved on Thursday?
Yeah, that's the game against Crystal Palace. Big one for the Brighton fans and the Palace fans coming on Thursday night. This one at the moment though still sees Arsenal leading Brighton by 1-0 with the Gabriel Jesus header. Manchester City's women won 4-1 away to Everton in the WSL. WSL leaders Chelsea 2-up away to Bristol City in the second half. The 3 o'clock kickoff in the WSL underway. That's Leicester West Ham. That is goalless. And on Sports Extra tonight, 6:45 kickoff, Aston Villa against Brighton. So Buonanotte, Julio and Pedro. Joao Pedro all on for Brighton. Joao Pedro, who's already got 11 goals for Brighton so far this season, despite not starting regularly because no one really does for Brighton, and got the all-important late winner against Marseille on Thursday night. Here's Van Hecke. Van Hecke inside his own half, runs away from Jesus, flick on towards Pedro, and then Jesus catches Van Hecke in the neck, who goes down, but it will only be a throw-in for Brighton in their right back position. Still time, plenty of time here for Brighton, Clinton. They're only one down, half an hour to go.
No, they are. I'd be interested to see how fit Welbeck is, because he's a threat. He gives them a different threat up front.
Adingra trying to hold on to the ball for Brighton, lost it, and then has a hack at Havertz, catches Havertz, and that'll be a free kick for Arsenal, just inside the Brighton half wide on the left. Not through to Ødegaard. Ødegaard passes it just behind Martinelli, but the ball stays in play. Martinelli collects it, back to Ødegaard, corner of the Brighton penalty area. He finds Zinchenko, now Gabriel, closed down by Buonanotte. Saliba, cross to Gabriel, nice pass from him, real precision on that to find Martinelli. Martinelli starts to angle a run in, then stops, 5 yards in from the left-hand touchline, given to Zinchenko. Chip ball into the penalty area, might fall for Ødegaard. Ødegaard controls it, Gilmour behind him, lays it off to Martinelli. Skills from Martinelli on the left, tries to beat Hinshelwood, drives the cross in, Dunk with a diving header away. Only as far as Zinchenko, who gives it straight back to Martinelli. Zinchenko makes the run, it's a decoy. Martinelli's cross, Dunk with another header away. Ødegaard sticks out a leg, can't control it. Martinelli tackles Adingra, and Tim Robinson, the referee, says throw in for Brighton. Back to West Ham, Lee Blakeman.
Sarabia goal disallowed for Wolves. It's West Ham 2, Wolves 0, following, Ali, what was 3.5 to 4 minutes of a VAR check. Gary O'Neill fuming on the touchline here, but with 61 on the clock, West Ham 2, Wolves 0.
Okay, we'll have a look at that on Match of the Day 2 tonight, BBC 1 at 10:30. Brentford Villa latest, Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, Villa 0, should be 2 for Brentford. Breaking forward, the goal scorer Lewis Potter. Challenge, the ball broke to Roerslev, he couldn't quite get a foot on it. Brentford win a corner, they lead 1-0.
Martinelli on the ball for Arsenal. They're leading Brighton by 1-0. We're into the last half hour of the game. Adingra, nice ball forward to Joao Pedro. Adingra continues his run, and Joao Pedro just slightly overhits the pass, and it goes out for a throw into Arsenal inside their own half on the left. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. Tuesday night's League Cup quarter-final commentary. Chelsea-Newcastle on 5 Live, kicks off at 8 o'clock. Everton-Fulham in full on Sports Extra. It's also Port Vale against Middlesbrough that night. We've got full commentary on Wednesday night on 5 Live of Liverpool against West Ham.
I wonder who's doing that one.
I don't know. Is it you, Clinton?
Yeah, I'm doing Liverpool.
You're at Anfield Wednesday night for us. Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, Joao Pedro curling the ball onto the chest of Buonanotte. Gives it to Adingra, gets it back. Buonanotte plays back to Van Hecker. Arsenal haven't been able to get the second goal as yet, so still remain vulnerable if Brighton can work something. And as we said at half-time, not only do they always concede in the league this season, Brighton, but they always score as well. But so far, not today. Dunk to Gilmour. Gilmour inside the Arsenal half, running from right to left, wide to Matoma, seeing a bit more of the ball in the second half. Forward to Gross. Gross is crossed from the left. Header from Hinchelwood straight at Raya, and the offside flag was up.
Yeah, I think Gross was offside.
Raya slings the ball out straight to Martinelli. Martinelli immediately into the Brighton half. Saka's there for him on the right-hand side. Arm up in the air, Martinelli's seen him, curls the pass across to him, it bounces in front of Saka, now up against a different fullback in Julio, gives it to Ødegaard. Ødegaard into the penalty area, a little drag back, Saka's drive into the side netting, and it remains Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. That'll be a Brighton goal kick.
You know what, if they don't win this football match, they'll be disappointed, Arsenal, because the amount of chances they've created trying to score the perfect goal. I don't know why Ødegaard just doesn't put his foot through it. Good play again from Martinelli, plays it to Saka, good little reverse ball, and he's down injured at the moment. Ødegaard.
How's Ødegaard hurt himself? It's Van Hecker accidentally trod on him, didn't he? As he did that little drag back, that little bit of skill by the byline. By the way, I heard John Murray saying, reminded me that next Saturday, 5:30 commentary, Liverpool-Arsenal, one of the 5 Live games. Great game. And Tottenham-Everton at 3 as well, Clinton, which I think will be really good.
That will be a big one, because Everton are flying and Tottenham look like they've got their mojo back. So, yeah, very good.
Yeah, and the BBC Sounds app will always give it a push, but if you're on the move this Christmas, wherever you're heading to, out doing the shopping, driving, hither and thither, you can get all the live commentaries. You can listen to whatever you want to again. All the podcasts on there as well, including the Football Daily. As Verbruggen plays the ball out for Brighton. So Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. 25 minutes remaining in this game. Won't be too long before we're hearing from John Murray with the team news on our next commentary, which is Liverpool against Manchester United live from Anfield. What's happened, Clinton?
No, I think Saliba wins the ball, but they think that the Brighton players are making out like he's gone through him, but he slid to win the ball. I don't know if he's caught him, but you'll see it here, and we need to see a replay of it, because all the Brighton players went and surrounded the referee, but Saliba told him to get up.
Brighton player down, holding the back of his leg. It's Buonanotte.
Yeah, it's Buonanotte.
And Saliba.
He's like slid in now, but I don't know if he catches him on the slide.
Right, cast your professional eye over this then, Clinton. Slides in.
Come on. Oh, no way.
No.
I'm not even looking. I don't even have to go to VAR.
Yeah.
No way. He gets the ball and it's his follow through, but he doesn't really catch him on the ankle. No chance for me.
No, I can see there was some contact on Buonanotte there, but in terms of Brighton players sort of asking for punishment for Saliba, I don't think so. And we're back underway with a drop ball. David Raya on the ball inside his own penalty area. Arsenal still leading through the Gabriel Jesus header in the 53rd minute of this game. Havertz's ball to Ødegaard, on to Martinelli. Arsenal sweeping forward. Martinelli slows it down for a second. Jesus in a lot of space on the left. Brighton have arms up for a potential offside. Bit of keepy-uppy from Jesus. Couple of headers to get the ball under control. Zinchenko swiveling the hips on the edge of the box. Everyone's in the mood now. Jesus back to Zinchenko. Jesus again, wide on the left. Into the feet of Martinelli. Back it comes to Gabriel. Nice scoop pass from him. Finds Zinchenko. Space on the left. Cross deflected. Might run back to Ødegaard, edge of the box. Gets round a defender. Hits the shot. Brave block by Lewis Dunk. And that has definitely hurt. That has caught.
You can explain where that caught him out.
Well, I think now that you've said that, Clinton, I think we know. Lewis Dunk is howling in agony, and he has both hands clutched over an extremely tender area. And Chris Jones, our rugby union correspondent, will know exactly what we're talking about. But Chris is watching Harlequins Toulouse.
Where Toulouse have scored, Ali. Quins 0, Toulouse 7. Strong start from the host, but they turned down kickable points. First meaningful Toulouse attack. Dupont involved as ever. Aki with the killer break. Barassi under the post. Harlequins 0, Toulouse 7 after 9 minutes.
So after the commentary of Brentford Villa finishes on Sports Extra, we'll pick up with commentary of Quins against Toulouse. Then it's Villa Brighton in the WSL. Coverage starts at 6:30 tonight. NFL is Cowboys at the Bills from 9 o'clock this evening. Chris will keep us updated. Exeter beat Munster 32-24 in the Champions Cup earlier on. Martinelli's corner flicked on at the near post, headed off the line. Brilliant defending by Dunk.
That is unbelievable header from Lewis Dunk. I think it's going in. It's Ben White that flicks it on at the near post. It's fantastic clearance from Dunk.
Initially I thought the corner was going straight out of play, but it was perfectly delivered onto White's head, and White is centimetres away from scoring his first goal of the season for Arsenal. They cannot find a second at the moment though. Arsenal lead Brighton by 1-0. Martinelli waits to take the corner. In it comes with the right foot. Similar delivery. Trouble for Verbruggen at the near post. Ball spinning up in the air. Headed straight back up in the air. Rice jumps for the ball, just getting his body in the way. Joao Pedro can't get it off him. Here's Rice looking for a cross. Hits the body of Julio and goes out for a throw into Arsenal on the left.
Van Bruggen struggles. I just keep putting the set pieces on him. He's not big enough. He can't come and command his box, and he struggles massively.
Throw in Arsenal, which Zinchenko will take. He's about 7-8 yards short of the corner flag on the left, and he's looking for red and white shirted runners. Havertz plays it back to him. Zinchenko not enough on that. Intercepted by Buonanotte. Adingra goes shrinking past him on the right. Jesus comes back to win it for Arsenal. Buonanotte's complaining again about the challenge, and he's got his shorts pulled down round his knees there.
Because he should be doing the string up. That's why. It was nothing to do with that. He's not strong enough.
No.
Great strength from Jesus. Thought he had more time, Buonanotte. So, yeah, struggling. Not a foul for me, Al.
Yeah, Buonanotte looking a little foolish. Didn't win the free kick, and flash of the black underpants as well. Chris Jones is going to think, what on earth are we talking about in this game this afternoon? He's watching Quins to lose.
Yeah, fixated on this one, Ali. It's shaping up to be a classic already. Quins have hit back. Quins 7 to lose 7. Andre Esterhuizen powering through. Couldn't miss Marcus Smith from bang in front. Quins 7 to lose 7 after 11 thrilling minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Saka on the right for Arsenal. Has the beating of Julio. Gets the cross in beyond Verbruggen. Hinshelwood nearly knocks it into his own net, and it's gone behind for a corner. Stuck a left foot out to block the cross because he thought Martinelli was behind him, which he was, and then tried to volley it away before it went over the dead ball line, but it will be a corner for Arsenal. The Brighton goal is living a very charmed life at the moment.
It's a great ball from Saka. Someone has to be in a 6-yard box, and Martinelli has to look out the back post and get a simple tap in.
West Ham 2, Wolves 0. Brentford 1, Villa 0. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. Scorelines as they stand in the Premier League in the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Get on with it, says Tim Robinson to Gabriel Martinelli. Cameraman in very close there, filming Martinelli. 2 steps to the ball, right-footed ball again. Verbruggen's there, he's punched it straight up in the air again, headed down by Dunk. Adingra is trying to win the ball. It eventually spins out of the penalty area. Martinelli is there, little step over, back to Zinchenko. Arteta says to Zinchenko, give it back to Martinelli here on the left. He's in space. Zinchenko thinks about it, twists and turns, then plays it to Ødegaard. The chance is gone, and it's back with Saliba in the centre circle. Saliba across to White, and White plays back to David Raya. There's been a red card in the Brentford-Villa game. Henry Moran.
Still Brentford 1, Villa 0, but Ben Mee has been sent off for Brentford. Initially a yellow card for the tackle on Leon Bailey, turned to a red on review. He was already halfway down the tunnel by the time the referee went to have a look at that screen. Brentford 1, Villa 0.
Commentary continues over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Commentary of West Ham Wolves available online via the BBC Sports website and app. Next break in play here at the Emirates Stadium. We'll take you to Anfield because I know that John Murray is waiting with the team news, hot off the press, coming to you very shortly here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Dion Dublin will be alongside John for commentary this evening. Dunk, raking pass, fabulous pass from deep, finds Mitoma running at the Arsenal defenders, into the box, onto his left foot, then he goes down too easily.
But then if he thinks he's dived, he should give him a second yellow card then, shouldn't he there?
You're right, Mitoma's on the booking as well. Mitoma went down, Arsenal playing out from the back. Ødegaard, brilliance from him, releases Saka trying to bring it away for Arsenal, running across the Arsenal half, still going, wants to set Gabriel Jesus on his bike. Here's Jesus who receives it from Saka. Martinelli's drifted into the middle, Jesus finds Saka into the box, Dunk too strong for him, runs him off the ball, and it's in the arms of Bart Verbruggen.
Dunk's been outstanding. Listen, Brighton have struggled this afternoon, but he's defending, he's put his body on the line, really strong defending, and that was his ball that played a fantastic ball to Mitoma. I like Dunk, top defender.
Saka's down and has stayed down at the moment. Might be a little bit of exhaustion there. Arsenal are asking Brighton to put the ball out of play. I don't think Brighton have a need to do that. He's fine. He's on his feet, so Brighton will keep playing.
There's too much times I'm not kicking the ball out.
Nope.
If he's got a bad head injury, I'll definitely kick the ball out. But Saka's all right. He's just a bit tired, as you said, Al.
John Murray still patiently waiting, but here come Brighton. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. Adingra plays back to Van Hecke. Van Hecke is deep in Arsenal territory here, across to Gilmour. Gilmour to Dunk. Dunk forward to Gilmour. Quick 1-2 between those two. Dunk again to Gilmour. Little pocket of space for the Scotsman. Floats his pass to the left to Mitoma, who's now getting the boos from the Arsenal fans. Runs away from Ødegaard. Plays the ball back to Julio. Julio to Dunk. Dunk forward to Gilmour. Gilmour across to Van Hecke. Van Hecke, well intercepted by Declan Rice. Too strong there. Wanted it and won it and gives it to Martinelli. Martinelli, clever nutmeg on Dunk. Still Martinelli. Hinshaw in with the tackle, but it falls to Ødegaard. Ødegaard with a chance maybe to win the game. Still Ødegaard. Oh, what a save with the right hand by Verbruggen. And it's behind for the Arsenal corner. Let's bring in John Murray from Anfield.
I can tell you that the current Premier League leaders, Liverpool, make 9 changes from the Europa League in midweek, just 1 from the Premier League last weekend, and that is Konate in at the back for Kwanzaa. So there's still no McAllister. And Manchester United, 2 changes from the Champions League starting lineup on Tuesday. Fernandes is suspended, Maguire is injured, but Shaw is fit, McTominay is captain, Mainu and Evans are the 2 who come in, so Rashford's only a substitute again, and Lindelof and Mount are still absent on the injured list.
Perfect timing, John. Martinelli takes the corner into the near post, headed away by Igor Julio. What a professional, John Murray. Look at that, all the information, all the details, and then Martinelli knows he's ready to go.
Yeah, you know what John's like. He's definitely got a TV there, or he's just the best, isn't he? I praise him too much. He's just the best. I praise him too much, though.
Looking forward to that this afternoon on the way home. Liverpool, Manchester United, Dion Dublin and John Murray. Martinelli with another corner for Arsenal, leading 1-0. Rice tries to get a header on the ball. Falls to him again, lays it off to Ødegaard. Ødegaard plays it to his left to Martinelli. Martinelli has the beating of Adingra. Crossing to the far post, headed over the bar, and that is behind for a goal kick. Havertz with the chance to get Arsenal 2 in front. Another goal at West Ham, Lee Blakeman.
3 for West Ham. They lead Wolves 3-0. This time Jared Bowen played into the area, right side, hit a shot, across goal into the bottom corner. 3 goals, 3 points. West Ham 3, Wolves 0.
I give up. All these players I should put in my fantasy team.
You can't have them all, Clinton.
I know I can't. I know.
You can't have them all.
Maybe I shouldn't have put Mitoma in one of them too.
Yeah. In terms of a response to a Premier League defeat, of course, though West Ham thumped at Fulham last time out. That is a great response. 3-0 up against Wolves. Highlights match of the day 2, BBC One at 10:30. Quins to lose in the Champions Cup. Chris Jones.
3 goals to West Ham, 3 tries already here within 13 minutes. Another for Toulouse. Dimitri Delibi finishing a sweeping move to dot down in the corner, brilliantly converted by Thomas Ramos. 2 players down injured at the moment, just taking the sting at the far start. The Harlequins 7, Toulouse 14 after 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. 15 minutes to play at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal have won a free kick in the centre circle. Scottish League Cup final well underway in the first half. Kicked off at 3 o'clock. Gavin Wallace watching Rangers against Aberdeen.
Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. Ali 35 on the clock, and the best chance that Rangers have had came on the half-hour. Sima with a Cruyff turn just inside the box, but Kellaroos down well to save to his right. 0-0, 35 gone.
And a goal at Brentford, Henry Moran.
Equaliser for Aston Villa, substitute Leon Bailey's cross at the back post. There was Moreno to nod home, and now the 10 men of Brentford have got a real job on their hands. Brentford 1, Aston Villa 1.
Billy Gilmour booked here for Brighton. The challenge made that saw Arsenal win the free kick moments ago. Into the last 15 minutes here, and Arsenal still leading Brighton by a goal to 0. But Villa starting the day 3rd in the Premier League, now 1-1, as Henry was saying, against 10-man Brentford. Ben Mee sent off in that game. Yellow card upgraded after the video assistant referee got involved. Buonanotte bringing it forward for Brighton outside of his left foot. Picked the wrong pass. Ødegaard intercepts. Ødegaard turns away from trouble, plays back to Havertz up towards Jesus. Brilliant from Jesus to beat Lewis Dunk. Then plays it out to Martinelli. Martinelli speeding forward into the Brighton penalty area, trying to tee himself up possibly for the right-footed shot.
Took too long.
Yeah, he has taken too long. Turning away still from Brighton defenders, so many of them back there now. Still Martinelli, where are you going? Heading down all sorts of cul-de-sacs. Martinelli back to Havertz, and Havertz in turn comes back to Gabriel.
Buonanote's not been nowhere near it since he's come off. That was a great opportunity that was out. That was like 5 against 3. Picks the wrong pass. Not been good enough. And that's another good opportunity. You're thinking Martinelli just shift it to Saka, but too many touches.
Arsenal lead Brighton 1-0 here. David Raya receives the ball, edge of the D for Arsenal. Right-footed pass low across to Gabriel. Gabriel knocks it forward to Martinelli. Just got a little shove in the back from Hinshelwood as he chested it down, and he does win Arsenal the free kick. Danny Welbeck coming on for Brighton, which is great to see. Last appearance for Brighton, 21st of October against Manchester City. 33 years old now. Some real experience sort of dotted throughout this Brighton squad and team, with young tyros and talents like Simon Adingra, who's coming off for Welbeck here, who gets the appreciation of his manager Roberto De Zerbi. But it's a lovely blend with the likes of Milner and Lallana and Welbeck and Lewis Dunk in that squad.
Yeah, you're right. The experience and the youngsters. They do it right at Brighton, they definitely do.
They certainly do. They're trailing 1-0 here though, and they are defending an Arsenal free kick, but it's coming from deep. It's inside the Arsenal half. Zinchenko leaves it to Gabriel. Gabriel chips it forward. Havertz, great leap, heads it in field. Gross nods it down. That might be intercepted by Havertz. Couldn't quite hold on to the ball. Played forward towards Joao Pedro. Saliba saw the danger, comes across, gets there first, plays back to Raya. 12 minutes remaining in the game. Raya with the ball just outside his penalty area. Pascal Gross comes running towards him. Raya clears, and it's headed away by Hinshelwood. Gilmour nods it down, intercepted by Havertz. Zinchenko again only finds Hinshelwood, but Rice onto the clearance. Rice quickly wide to Martinelli on the left. Martinelli just outside the Brighton box. Now he's inside that penalty area. Hinshelwood backpedaling, crossing towards Saka. Didn't find Saka. Havertz leaps above Buonanotte, wins the header. Havertz was caught by Buonanotte. They sort of untangle themselves, edge of the box. Havertz plays it back to Zinchenko, and Zinchenko in turn finds Gabriel. Gabriel looking for runners. Pass forward is blocked by Joao Pedro. Throw in for Arsenal on the left.
You know why the game's 1-0? They will start getting nervous here, because you have domination. I saw it yesterday when I was covering the Man City game. Dominated, then Palace get one, and then they end up scoring right in the last minute and get the equaliser. So Arsenal need to get this second goal to kill off this game.
Throw in to be taken by Zinchenko. 6:06 as always tonight after our Liverpool-Manchester United commentary. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be taking your calls. Havertz battling for the cause, falls on the floor, falls on the ball. The offside flag was up anyway. That'll be a free kick for Brighton.
Yeah, I don't know. He was offside, but you can't jump on the ball and lay on the ball like Havertz was doing.
Yeah, he was just wriggling around on the floor trying to stop players getting to that ball. Chelsea's winning 3-0 up away to Bristol City. That came in the closing stages in the WSL. Still remains Leicester 0, West Ham 0, and still Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0 in the Scottish League Cup final. Commentary of that available via the BBC Sounds app. BBC Radio Scotland will have the commentary. Jesus is coming off and Ketia is coming on, and Gabriel Martinelli is coming off. Leandro Trossard is coming on. So next up for Arsenal, out of the League Cup, so they'll get a week's rest, away to Liverpool next Saturday. That's a 5 Live commentary kicking off at 5:30. Then West Ham at home, Fulham away, before we head into the FA Cup third round early January. And of course, that's a big one for Arsenal against Liverpool, which got drawn out of the hat as a third round tie. So Trossard and Nketiah are on. Arsenal trying to close the game out, trying to go top of the Premier League ahead of Liverpool, Manchester United, which is on the way here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Header forward from Julio, controlled by Welbeck inside his own half, gets away from Ødegaard. Welbeck looking sprightly, finds Gross, gets the ball back from Gross. Declan Rice back at Welbeck, but it runs to Joao Pedro. Saliba's with him, gets a foot on the ball, and Pedro just puts his body in the way and lets it run for a throw into Brighton wide on the left. Thrown into Mitoma. Joao Pedro, bit of skill. Did he overrun that? Arsenal fans on the other side of the ground thought that might have gone out for a throw. Play continues. Dunk threads it down the inside left channel. Joao Pedro on the turn finds Mitoma. His cross in. Oh, and it's wide at the near post.
Oh my
Pascal Gross sticks a leg out and really should have made it 1-1.
I don't know how he's missed it. It's harder to, it's easier to miss it than it's to put in the net. I cannot believe it. It's great play. Joao Pedro gets into little pockets and plays a great little reverse ball to Mitoma. He's got the beating of Ben White, picks out Pascal Gross, and he misses a great opportunity at the near post. And that's what I said, Ali. That's why they need this second goal, because Brighton can create.
Yeah. That was the stat going into the game. Brighton, the first club to score and concede in 20 consecutive top-flight games since Newcastle had a run of 21 back in the 50s. But at the moment, Brighton have conceded today. They have not scored, and time is running out. Arsenal have gone long eventually. Reyes cleared. Van Hecke plays it back to Verbruggen. Verbruggen into the feet of Hinshelwood, the 18-year-old, with Trossard right behind him, very measured. Plays his pass to Van Hecke. It comes wide to Buonanotte. Almost a loose ball from Buonanotte, but Hinshelwood helps him out. Stretches and gets it moving again from Brighton.
You know what he does there? He goes with the left foot. I think if he lets it run across him and he goes with his right foot, he puts it into an empty net.
Mitoma chasing a long ball downfield. I think you're right. Have a look for yourselves tonight, actually. Match of the Day 2, BBC One. That is bound to feature in the highlights. Great late chance for Brighton, but Arsenal still leading through the Gabriel Jesus header. Here's Rice. Lays it off to Zinchenko on the left. Rice continues his run. Crosses the halfway line. Gets away from a tiring Pascal Gross. Eddie Nketiah making tracks in the middle. Rice might only have eyes for goal. Still Rice shoots. Blocked with the leg by Verbruggen. Trossard trying to chase the rebound. Goal at Brentford, Henry Moran.
Aston Villa have turned it around. Nodded in after a cross on the left-hand side. I think it's Ollie Watkins against his former club in there. I say I think because every player's in the back of the net. A right old scrap. What I can tell you, Villa lead, Brentford 1, Villa 2.
Well, there we go. Second place Arsenal at the start of the day, leading Brighton by a goal to nil, and Villa behind for a long time today, now leading at Brentford by 2 goals to 1. The Ben Mee sending off sounds absolutely pivotal there. We have 6 minutes remaining in this game. Arsenal leading Brighton by a goal to nil. Ball is with Dunk. Cross to Julio. Arsenal again. Strikes up all the way around the stadium, apart from that blue and white corner, that sweep of the stadium away to the right. Julio decides to start a driving run from inside his own half. Saka follows him. Saka's fouled him. Julio picks himself up. Does so well for Brighton there to also find the pass and go wide left to Gross. Pedro on his outside. Mitoma's drifted infield. João Pedro just comes trotting towards Saliba. Right-footed effort from the corner of the box. Saliba blocks it. The ball spins up in the air. João Pedro is there and manages to retrieve possession for Brighton to Julio. Mitoma gets the shout from João Pedro, leaves it. Mitoma makes the run. João Pedro's 1-2 with Pascal Gross. Then hits another shot which is blocked. Gilmore's there to get onto the loose ball for Brighton. Arsenal fans are getting anxious. Across it comes to Van Hecke. Van Hecke to Welbeck. Welbeck just lays it off to Van Hecke. Brighton going from right to left at the moment. Here's Dunk, 30 yards from goal. All he can see is Martin Ødegaard in front of him. Pass doesn't quite reach its destination. Zinchenko in, and Zinchenko's played the ball. He thought off Welbeck for an Arsenal throw. It's been given as a Brighton throw, but Arsenal under some pressure late on.
No, Brighton will have a spell. They're a good footballing team. I know they haven't played brilliantly this afternoon, but they will have a spell. And that's why you're thinking, will Arsenal come back to rue these chances? But we'll have to wait and see how.
Just 2 wins in the last 10 Premier League games for Brighton. There have been 5 draws in there. At the moment they're heading for defeat. Mitoma trying to wriggle out of a tight spot on the left. Pascal Gross curls that cross in. Header from Hinshelwood. What a chance. Glances off the forehead and goes behind for the goal kick. Back to Brentford, Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, Villa 2, and a little more on that melee we just saw. Watkins, after heading the ball home, ran into the back of the net, pointed at the Brentford supporters behind the goal. His former club, let's not forget, didn't go down terribly well with the fans or the Brentford players. Play back underway with Brentford trailing. Aston Villa with a 2-goal lead, turning it around. Forgive me, Brentford 1, Villa 2.
West Ham comfortably leading Wolves by 3 goals to nil. Commentary of Liverpool, Manchester United on the way. Here's Nketiah for Arsenal. Finds Trossard just inside the Brighton half. Back to Zinchenko. Declan Rice is there again for Arsenal. Some crucial... Well, I mean, in all facets of the game again today, Clint, some of the interceptions from Declan Rice, some of the driving runs forward, every facet.
He's gone to another level since he's gone to Arsenal.
Lovely ball forward. Ødegaard to Nketiah. Slides it into Havertz. 1-on-1 to win the game. Kai Havertz does just that. Arsenal finally seal it. In the 87th minute of the game, Kai Havertz played in, took his time, measured finish into the bottom corner. Arsenal 2, Brighton 0.
Yeah, I I think it's tight, because I think Lewis Dunk's going over to the other side. I thought he might just be offside, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's great play from Nketiah. Great reverse ball. Once Havertz gets in there, the finish is outstanding, right into the bottom corner. But they will have a look at this. I know they have a look at everyone, but it does look a bit tight. So we'll have to wait and see after the replay. But great goal, great finish. If it is 2-0, it's game over, Al.
Yeah, at the moment the Arsenal flags are flying. Kai Havertz is getting the love from the Arsenal fans as well, and he's starting to score some crucial goals for his club. You think about the late winner at Brentford. This one, if it stands, is going to seal a win that, as it stands, will take Arsenal top of the Premier League table ahead of Liverpool, Manchester United, which is on the way. So Arsenal players slowly making their way back towards the halfway line. The ball is back on the centre circle. Referee Tim Robinson just having a word with Kai Havertz as well. Yeah,
I'm giving the goal. I think, listen, we can't really see much of a replay, so I'm just saying it's a goal.
Kai Havertz, having scored, is coming off, so he'll get roared off. And Bukayo Saka's coming off as well, but Emile Smith-Rowe is coming on, who is a hugely popular figure here. Listen to that for Emile Smith-Rowe. Played so well for England's under-21s in the summer, hit by injury again at the start of this season, slowly getting back into first-team football, came off the bench against PSV in midweek, and Bukayo Saka finally gets a rest as well. Not much of one, but as I say, no League Cup football for Arsenal this week. Reece Nelson on for Saka. Arsenal are going to deserve this win as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they deserve it. Arsenal have been the better team, but they've been excellent. They've created numerous chances. They've been outstanding, to be fair, and should be more than 2-0.
We're into the 89th minute of the game, just ticking over into the 90th, and it's the Arsenal fans in joyous mood. They lead Brighton by 2-0. Jesus and Havertz with the goals in the second half. Brighton have kicked off. It's played back to Gross. Gross looking for the run of Mitoma down the left. Saliba reads it, leaps in to win a header. Reece Nelson gets his first touch, volleys a pass back to Saliba, and across it comes to White. There you are, Declan Rice, a little bit of danger. White's pass wasn't the best, but Rice saw it, stepped in and kept possession.
We spoke about Gilmour. This is a lesson, because Declan Rice has run all over Gilmour this afternoon. I think Billy Gilmour's an outstanding player, but it's just that yard of pace which Declan Rice has and Gilmour don't have. That's why, that is why there's a difference between the two players at the moment.
We are top of the league now. You can hear loud and clear around the Emirates Stadium, leading Brighton 2-0. Pascal Gross, cross in from deep from the right-hand side, intercepted by Reece Nelson. That'll be a corner for Brighton. Half-time at Hampden Park in the Scottish League Cup final. Gavin Wallace.
Yep, it's still nil at half-time. Not really a heck of a lot happening, but Ross McCausland could have got Rangers in the leading himself into a perfect area for a header 6 yards out, and he fired it over. 0-0 at half-time.
So closing stages of these 3 2:00 kickoffs in the Premier League. Aston Villa leading 2-1 at Brentford. West Ham 3, Wolves 0. Arsenal going top of the table ahead of Liverpool, Manchester United, because they lead Brighton 2-0. Here comes the Brighton corner. 6 minutes of added time. Easy catch for David Raya, who just flops on the ball and falls to the ground inside the 6-yard box. Clinton Morrison asked Theo Walcott just before kick-off whether Arsenal not could win the league. You said, will they win the league?
And he couldn't answer. There was a few doubts in his head.
Too difficult to call, I think, Clinton, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a brilliant title race.
Of course it is. It's going to go. Even Aston Villa today, you think, are they going to drop points? And they looking like they're going to beat Brentford.
Long ball downfield from Raya, back-headed from Dunk, back to his goalkeeper. And Brighton next up for them, as Clinton was saying, Thursday away at Crystal Palace. Hinshelwood's ball across to Mitoma. That game in the Premier League, of course. That'll start the next round of Premier League fixtures. Gilmour back to Dunk. We've had a minute and a half of added time played so far. Dunk just walking it forward up to the halfway line. Ødegaard in his path across to Julio. Back to Dunk. Dunk looking for the ball down the channel to Joao Pedro, intercepted by Saliba. Nelson flicks a header forward. Julio scampers to it first, and Brighton collect possession. Here's Van Hecke. Van Hecke turns 180 degrees, faces his own goal, plays to Dunk. Dunk again looking for the longer ball forward. Zinchenko heads that away. You can see Jakub Kivior's waiting to come on. Arsenal might fancy a third here. Space opening up for them. Former Brighton man Leandro Trossard with the outside of his right foot, can't find Nketiah in the middle. Dunk is there, scrapes a clearance away to João Pedro. Look at the strength and desire from Rice to knock João Pedro off the ball, then curls the cross into the far post. Trossard heads it down. Smith Rowe nearly through for Bruggen, made a good save just short of his goal line, and Brighton will have the chance to clear. That was Declan Rice again, Clinton, at his very, very best.
He's been outstanding. You know when you see it at home on TV, but it's different. When you watch it live, he's a big influence on this football team. He covers the ground, he drives forward, he intercepts. He can do it. He can do it all. He runs past people. I think he's been magnificent.
João Pedro is a big, strong, powerful centre forward, and Declan Rice just said, I'm having that. Just took it off him.
Definitely. He's been outstanding, magnificent.
Nearly created the third goal, and would have been Emile Smith-Rowe's first goal for Arsenal since April 2022. Zinchenko's puffed. Off he comes. Jakub Kiwior comes on to replace him at left back. Still to come back from injury for Arsenal in the second part of this season. Well, Jurrien Timber is a long-term injury. Tomiyasu, Jorginho, Mohamed El Neni, who hasn't played much football this season, of course, and Fabio Vieira as well. But pretty much at full strength this afternoon, Arsenal, and they're getting the job done. About 2.5 minutes to go, leading Brighton by 2-0. Van Hecke forward here to Pedro. João Pedro. Smith-Rowe chases. Nice pass, finds Mitoma. Sliding challenge. It's Declan Rice again on Mitoma. Here's João Pedro.
There's two of him. There's two of him out here,
that, isn't it? It is like that, Clinton. And Clinton will be with us again on 5 Live and BBC Sounds Wednesday night for the commentary Liverpool-West Ham in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Here's Pascal Gross for Brighton. Another cross into that Arsenal penalty area, beyond everyone. Buonanotte turns and chases, just keeps it in, down by the dead ball line. Can't wriggle his way past Kiwior. Kiwior, tight spot on the left, forward. Nketiah couldn't bring it in. Pass was just beyond him. Dunk to Gross, and wide it goes to Julio. About 90 seconds to play. Here's Lewis Dunk, lines one up and fires it miles over the bar. Big roars from the Arsenal fans. Goal kick for them. They lead Brighton by 2-0. They're going top of the league ahead of Liverpool, Manchester United.
You know what? You get moments in football match out. Brighton's moment was Pascal Gross when Mitoma, and he should score from four yards out. It's a different game then. It's 1-1. Brighton get confidence and they got something to hold on to. That's why I always said Arsenal needed that second goal to finish off the game.
Full-time details on the way here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Brentford 1, Villa 2, West Ham 3, Wolves 0, Arsenal 2, Brighton 0, with about a minute or so to play here. Mikel Arteta just saying to David Raya, take as much time as you can. Raya clears with his right foot. Buonanotte stretches, loses out to Trossard, step over from him, and Nketiah in support. Van Hecke gets a foot in. Buonanotte keeps the ball in play, but it only works to Arsenal's advantage. Back it comes to Gabriel, left-footed clearance from him, goes out of play for a Brighton throw, and still Mikel Arteta is on his team and waving them up and saying, press Brighton in here from the throw. Last 30 seconds of the game, Gilmour side puts it back to Hinshelwood. Van Hecke uses Hinshelwood again, pass out from deep, that's what Arteta wanted, straight to Declan Rice, couldn't quite bring it under control. Here's Welbeck. Welbeck plays back to Hinshelwood, into the Brighton box it goes for Bruggen. Perfect pass from him out to the left to Julio. Forward to Gross, back it comes to Dunk, and Brighton will still try and play right to the very end. Mitoma just inside the Arsenal half. Wide it goes to Welbeck on the right, back to Hinshelwood. Can they muster one last chance? Gilmour, bit of urgency from him. Pass out to the left, offside flag goes up. That, I think, is going to be that any second now. Arsenal will take the free kick, and then I think their fans will be celebrating the fact that they are going top of the league, possibly temporarily, with Liverpool, Manchester United to come. The full-time whistle blows. Arsenal get the win. Second half goals from Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz see them beat Brighton by 2-0. Roberto De Zerbi comes across, gives Mikel Arteta a big hug, and I think he will know, the Brighton boss will know. Great chance, as you say, Clinton, for Pascal Gross late in the game to make it 1-1, but in the end, Brighton well beaten really today.
Yeah, they were well beaten, to be fair, and they have to look forward now till Thursday. They've obviously qualified for for Europe, finishing top of their group, so it's been a long week for them, but I thought Arsenal were fantastic. They created loads of chances. You just worry, Arsenal are not at the top of their game, but they're winning football matches. That's the sign of champions at the moment. So yeah, if they keep going like this, they'll push Man City and Liverpool very close. I'm not telling you who's winning.
No, I know you're not going to do that.
I still think Man City are favourites.
Okay.
But Arsenal and Liverpool, it's going to be much closer than it has been.
Okay, we're going with potential champions, which is exactly what they were when they were absolutely flying last season. At it again, Arsenal. Stepped it up in the second half here and won it with 2 second-half goals. They've beaten Brighton by 2-0.
Stay with us, guys. We'll be back at the Emirates very shortly, but there's been another red card in the game between Brentford and Aston Villa. Henry Moran.
Deep in added time, Brentford 1, Aston Villa 2. Boubacar Kamara has been sent off for Aston Villa, raising an arm in a scuffle. All started, believe it or not, by Emiliano Martinez.
No.
I know, amazing. In the Arsenal goal, Neil Maupay was down on the ground. Martinez came out of his goal to try and lift him up. In doing so, almost pulled his shirt off. That then saw a sea of Brentford players running forward. In all amongst that, Kamara, an offence worthy of him being sent off. Unai Emery had actually charged down the touchline to haul Martinez out of the whole situation, and it's all sort of stemmed from that goal that Aston Villa scored to take the lead. Ollie Watkins, I was quite surprised at this. Former Brentford player, when he scored, he ran into the back of the goal and celebrated in front of the Brentford supporters, really riling them up. Since then, it has been lively to say the least. David Cody's more like Bruce Forsyth on Play Your Cards right at the moment. There's cards everywhere. It's chaos. Brentford 1, Aston Villa 2.
Thank you, Henry. So Aston Villa going on to 38 points. If it stays like that, that would be a point behind Arsenal at the top of the Premier League stadium. All done at the London Stadium. West Ham's topsy-turvy form continues. A big win over Wolves, Lee Blakeman.
Great win, Steve. West Ham 3, Wolves 0. Comfortable in the end for David Moyes' team, who move up to 7th in the table. First half, there was the Mohamed Kudus show. 2 really well-taken goals, both assisted by Lucas Paquetá. Wolves thought they were back in it just before the hour mark. Goal scored by Sarabia, disallowed for a really tight offside. It was a long VAR check for that as well. Bowen then wrapped it up, in from the right, across goal, into the bottom corner. Great response following the defeat at Fulham last Sunday. A win in Europe, then a win here too. West Ham 3, Wolves 0.
To the Champions Cup at Twickenham Stew. Harlequins against Toulouse. Chris Jones.
Quins 7, Toulouse 14. Nearly half an hour played. The game started super fast with 2 tries for Toulouse either side of an Andre Estes, an effort for Harlequins. But then a really serious injury to Dino Lamb. 8 minutes or so was time was stopped while Lamb got some treatment, eventually stretched it off. Let's hope he's okay. Harlequins 7, Toulouse 14. Just over 10 minutes to go to the break.
Earlier today, Exeter Chiefs beat Munster in the Champions Cup by 32 points to 24. Back to the Emirates. Clinton Morrison, if you're going to ask Theo Walcott whether Arsenal will win the league, you can't be dodging the question.
I ain't dodged the question. I've said it all along. I still think Man City will win the league. But I do believe it's a 3-horse race and it will go right down to the wire. But I still think Man City are the team that can come January, February and go on that amazing run when Kevin De Bruyne comes back fit as well. So I still believe it's Man City. But in another month's time, if they keep dropping points, I might have to change my mind, Crosby. And this is why we love the Premier League and why it's the best one. I think this year it will go down right to the wire, though.
Little lad in the crowd has just got Bukayo Saka's shirt because he had a sign saying "Make my Christmas, Bukayo." So congratulations to that little kid. Listen, it's a big win for Arsenal, Clinton. Of course it is, and it takes them top of the table. But in another universe, Pascal Gross scores a chance that you would expect him to score, and we're talking about them not being clinical because that could so easily have happened.
Yeah, and that is, I said it to Ali in commentary, that is a big opportunity. Matoma crosses it to him. I just think Pascal Gross, he's been outstanding for Brighton, goes with the wrong foot. If he makes it 1-1, they've got something to hold on to. And then Arsenal, if they draw this game, they end up talking about ruining the chances they missed. So they just have to be more clinical. 2-0 looked a really good scoreline, and credit to them, they got the job done, but they missed a lot of chances. And when you're playing against the top teams, if you do that against Liverpool next week at Anfield, you will get punished.
Clinton, Ali, thank you very much indeed. Huge win for Arsenal.
I'll send my shirt to you, yeah?
To be honest, I'm fine. But thank you. I'll take one of Ali's lip mics, though. Big win for Arsenal, who go top of the Premier League on 39 points. So Liverpool, a third in the Premier League now on 37. But it's so tight at the top.